the show, guys. Show's over. We can't do it anymore. We are live, and this is Babe Talk. Everyone say hi.
Hi.
Hey.
Today we're doing a special edition of Babe Talk. It's going to be our nostalgia episode, in which we discuss our old musical habits. We're going to delve into how we had gotten into the music scene. And tonight we have all of our kind of founders of Babe Talk. We have Eric Navarro joining us tonight.
Hello.
We got co-producer Tony Peppers.
What's up, what's up?
We got head...
How'd you get co-producer?
What?
I'm just kidding. Congrats, dude. Seriously.
And we have AshNic, who has just been helping with every facet. We have a title for her, but I absolutely forget it because it's
production manager.
Production manager. And
Or you can just call me
boss.
head bitch in charge. I'll accept either.
She is the absolute head bitch in charge, and I'm Ollie, the keeper of the names that I don't even know who gave out. So we start off every show by asking everybody how their day was, and today we're going to start with Eric.
Well, I had a very long day at work, which is okay, because I love my work, but I'm glad to be doing this imbibing nostalgia episode. So, in the spirit of how was your day, also, what are you drinking, I think would be a good question.
Very nice.
All right, there we go.
Oh, I'm sorry, was this supposed to be a secret?
Well,
You promoted
No,
the show.
it's definitely not.
I mean, it wasn't really a secret, but like it was kind of like a half secret. Like
No, it was advertised as
we are. Hey everybody, we're drinking tonight. How's it going?
All right, yeah. No, it was good. I ended up seeing a friend of mine just had a baby, which I will do in a couple weeks. And we saw their baby, saw him in the hospital. And there's nothing interesting about that except that the couple's names are Liz and Justin. And if you switch the first letter of each of their names, it's Jiz and Lustin. That's pretty sweet. That's your celebrity couple name right there.
How did you come to that realization?
Do you want to know?
Like, did you just like stare at the name and be like, you know, if you move,
It was a Freudian slip.
It was a
Yeah,
Freudian
Freudian? Freudian?
Is that how you say it?
It's Freudian.
It's Freudian. I've
pretty sure
never
I've
heard it
never
like that.
heard it only said as Freudian.
I've heard that on Star Trek, and that's about it. Freudian.
I mean, it's a
Freudian
pretty
levels.
it's a loquent word.
Oh man, we're off to a great start. Tony,
You
how
just
was your
got
day?
peppered.
We just got peppered.
It was pretty good. I got asked if I was the right age today when I got ID'd for alcohol, so that was a cool new experience that I'm loving. But no, it's been a great day. I worked a little bit, nothing too bad.
Well, that's good. What are you drinking tonight? As Eric was also.
Well, it was 2 for $3 at the gas station for Mike's Harder Black
Harder.
Cherry Lemonade. And
Oh my God, harder. We're just like a little,
yeah, this one's 8% alcohol, so everyone
Whoa.
watch out.
whoa.
Tony
Watch
Peppers is going off
Um,
the deep end tonight. Amazing.
That's what
But it
Mike's
tastes
Harder-
like candy.
Sorry.
Mike's harder.
Yeah,
Go on, go on.
It tastes like candy, and that can be either really good or really bad. So we're gonna see how this
Really
goes.
Mike's,
I'm a white girl from college.
White couple from college.
Mike's Harder is what you say while you're drinking that.
Mike Harder, just like every time. Every time you take a sip, you must say Mike Harder. Like that is going to be the official rule.
Mike
AshNic,
Harder.
how was your day today?
It was good. Just cleaning up around the house. I'm trying to get ahead on work because I'm going to South by Southwest in 2 weeks. So I'm trying to just get ahead on all my like property of Zach posts and any Babe Talk work that I can do ahead of time. And I went to Trader Joe's, which is always really fun. Trying to go there at 3 p.m. on a weekday is just so awesome. And now I'm home. Both of my dogs are on my bed, so I'm afraid one of them is going to kick my computer, and it's just going to, something bad's going to happen. But overall, it's been a pretty good day.
That would actually be pretty bad. Now, I didn't hear the part of what you were talking about Trader Joe's. Did you pick up anything from Trader Joe's?
Yeah, no, I just, we need to go grocery shopping. The weather here is horrendous the last couple of days, and I have a really long driveway, and, there's one curve, and it gets super icy, and it's not safe to drive on, so it's, really hard to get in and out of my house. So I went, and I was like, buy all of the Trader Joe's things, and I did, and it was nice.
You bought all the things.
I bought all the things. I love Trader Joe's, as we've discussed, so.
How much snow are you guys expected to get?
Not that much. but it's just kind of sucks because all the ice is starting to finally melt. Like my driveway I can finally see like asphalt in my driveway now, and then we're supposed to get like 3 inches or something. Like 2 to 6, I think, was like the range. But it's I'm done with it. So.
Tonight is 6 to 12 in Baltimore.
Yeah, we're supposed to be getting around the same.
I hate it. And
hey,
anyway,
Tony, what weather are you going to be seeing?
Well, well, it was almost 80 degrees when I woke up today. So.
You're a dick. You know, I'm just
No.
gonna
It's very uncharacteristic. It's supposed to be really cold tomorrow. Well, really cold for the south. It's going to be like 40 degrees tomorrow, but it was really warm today. But the sky is currently opening up right now outdoors. So.
Like, it's so weird for everyone on the East Coast. Like, we're literally just, like, looking forward to, like, 35, 40-degree weather. And, like, I'm
dreading that. That's my nightmare. That's my nightmare.
It was 24 degrees, and I was driving home the other day, and I had the windows open in my car. I was like, fuck this.
It's such an odd state. And, AshNic, tonight you were drinking?
Tonight, I am courtesy of my best friend who decorated this lovely jar for me. It's a large jar, but that's what alcohol is supposed to be contained in. This is pineapple juice and tequila.
Hey, there you go.
So, shout out to my girl, Sam Small.
My day was... Yeah, what?
It was a shout out.
Shouting out to my friend, who maybe she'll be watching this. Sam, you should be watching this, except unless you're studying. That's okay.
If you're actually doing school work, that's okay.
It's okay. It's okay.
Hey, Ollie, how was your day?
My day? Oh, thank you, Eric, for asking.
No
My
one
day.
ever asks you.
no one does ever ask me. But then again, I'm just the black kid. No one cares what I think. My day was...
Ollie, I care about you a lot.
Oh, thank you. Black Lives Matter. Hashtag. There you go.
Holy shit! How's your life going? Doesn't matter. Just for casual conversation.
Black Lives Matter. Thank you very much. My day was pretty interesting. I worked all day, then came home and prepped for Babetalk, which prepping just meant picking out alcohol. It's different since we're not gonna have a guest. I had to put together my life story and figure out what alcohol I'm gonna be drinking to it.
What alcohol did you choose?
Yeah.
The alcohol I chose today is 3 Olive S'mores, which is the worst decision that I could ever make for myself. Yeah, no, it's not good. I can see all the faces. It really does taste as bad as it sounds.
I was one of those people who really wanted to try whipped cream vodka. Briscoe, stop! My dog is trying to steal the show right now.
Also, vodka's not bad. It's a great mixer. When you mix it with things, you don't even taste the alcohol.
Well, the thing is, I'm not a fan of, like I'm partially, I don't want to say lactose intolerant. I'm, lactose sensitive, I guess. So
you're
things
weak.
like
You guys are awful. I'm like, okay, I understand. And Tony and Eric are just like, you can't handle your dairy.
You can't handle that.
Excuse you.
Oh, who are you? You're like Super Dude from All That, who was lactose intolerant.
Oh, that's one weakness.
I just don't like the taste of it. Like, I'm a huge fan of, fruity vodka and, fruity liquors and stuff because it's just, I have a sweet tooth, but I can't. I tried the whipped cream vodka, and I really wanted to like it, but I don't know, not my thing.
Pinnacle, I think, is just, an awful... It's
because you put it in
is
tea.
just not a good thing.
No, I don't. My mom puts milk in her tea, though, which, weirds me out now that I think about weird things.
Your mom British as fuck, so...
Yeah, I'm like, that's a British thing.
No, she's not. She's Polish and Hungarian.
We'll tell you we'll tell you if she's British. Okay.
Speaking of my mom because Eric, you asked me about this last time you hosted. I was talking to Connor Sheehan. Am I saying this right? I probably can't. Sorry, Connor. But of Defend Pop Punk. Who works at POZ. He's super awesome. And I was just messaging him today for something really quick, and he's like, oh, by the way, when is your mom going to write more reviews for his submission? And I told my mom that, and she's like, I'm a celebrity. And I was like, okay.
I'm a celebrity.
That's such a mom thing to say. That's amazing.
She's so excited. She always asks me, she's like, when can we listen to more submissions? I'm like, Mom, I have to wait for more, not hardcore people to submit. She wouldn't like that, but... Your
mom's going to bring her newfound music selection to, a book club or something like that. Or, go to yoga and be like, all right, guys, listen, this is my daughter's website. They're picking out new bands.
Whoa, when did my mom get this Jersey accent? Or Long Island. She's from Long Island, but her accent only comes out when she gets mad.
Well, see, there you go. It's the hardcore. It's hard. It's Long Island hardcore.
Ashley's mom.
Get the X's going and shit.
Yeah. Oh my god, I'll buy that shit. I'll buy it today.
We will put them out for exclusive Babe Talk t-shirts. This is how we're going to keep the website going, guys. Amazing. Well, today we have Warped Tour announcements. And it's not the regular Warped Tour announcements. It's actually going to be the Acoustic Basement lineup. I have the list here, which I'll give to one of you guys to read, since I don't read them. Who wants to take them off?
I'll do it.
You do it? Tony, you got it
put
up?
on your radio voice.
Put on my radio
There we
voice?
go.
Oh,
Like
okay.
announcer voice.
Oh.
Tony
All
in
right.
the afternoon.
All right. Coming
This is now
live
Tony
from
in the evening.
Babetalk.tv, we got the band's Warped Tour announcement list. Today's list is... Hold on. Is it the first ones that they have at the top? Is that the right one? Yeah.
Yeah.
Aaron West is the newest one. All right. So for today's announcement, we have in the Acoustic Basement, we have Aaron West, American Opera, Brian Marquis, Hutton Baird, Paris, Transit, Say We Can Fly, Speak Low, Gray Gordon, Koji, Megan Wright, and Onward, etc. Back to you, Wally.
Fuck Brian Stars. He has nothing on Tony Peppers.
That was
And Tony has a better name,
smooth,
too.
Tony.
That was smooth as shit.
Smooth.
I tried. That
You
was
took your
really
glasses
bad.
off for it?
No, I took my glasses off because they're broken and they're.
Does that give you the power of a radio voice? You take your glasses off?
That's like
Yeah,
a Spider-Man
I'm
thing, like a
Clark Kent.
superhero thing. We take off your glasses and suddenly you're a different person.
Yeah, doesn't Peter Parker? Oh, he doesn't need the glasses. He got bit by a spider. Never mind.
Yeah. He got bit by a spider. He can now see perfectly.
Yeah.
He has a vision of 8 spiders. You know, works out.
Vision of 8
Like
Such an
Jesus.
arbitrary number of spider power.
Anyway,
Well, don't
we
they have,
need to
like-
talk? We need to talk about going back to the Acoustic Basement. We need to talk about how, hi, Briscoe, my dog really wants my drink.
Your dog's an alcoholic. Anyway, so
Briscoe,
yeah, I'm looking
Briscoe,
forward
Briscoe.
to Aaron West. I just recently started getting into his music as... How long has it been? I'm pretty sure it's been like almost half a year since he premiered his Aaron West project.
Yeah. The project.
Or full year?
Yeah, almost about there. It's maturing.
Yeah, and I find it to be like a really cool side project because, like, you know, I had slept on it and just thought it was just like, you know, just these weird like collection of acoustic songs that Soupy just didn't want to put out. But after I heard some of the stuff and like actually knew that he was acting on stage and off stage as Aaron West when he goes to perform, I find it kind of amazing. Because, like, you know, it's kids keeping up his songwriting songwriting abilities while keeping separate from the Wonder Years. And you don't see many artists do that. I mean, the only other people that I see doing that is Max
Garth
Bemis
Brooks.
when he opens up. Yeah, Garth Brooks. There we go.
What did he go as for a while? He did like a hard rock project.
Did he really? Oh,
Yeah,
no.
Yeah, this was even a little old for me. I was pretty young when this happened. But he like went on SNL as this other character and like did like a tour as this other character. It was the most
Wait, was it-
laughably awful thing.
Didn't he do that movie Dusty? Who did? I don't know. There's some old movie that comes on CMT
Oh, Chris
called Dusty.
Chris Gaines. That was his name. Chris Gaines. Hard rocker. Chris Gaines. And all the songs sounded like Garth Brooks songs, but like with one more electric guitar. It's the same kind of thing.
No,
But yeah, so
I'm excited to see Aaron West. Back
Yeah.
to segueing what you were doing. No, I'm very excited to see him, especially as a Wonder Years fan. But I mean, even though I haven't been that into the Aaron West project, I still think it's a very good thing because I'm noticing I'm getting to the age more where I'm not as excited about the headlining Warped Tour bands anymore. And I mean, I don't want to say I'm getting old for it or anything because I think Warped Tour is for any age. But I mean, you see a lot of influence in Aaron West. You see a lot of like the Mountain Goats and Lucero influences, and I'm catching myself listening to more of those bands. So I don't know. I'm excited for it.
It's
Very
cool.
true.
It's cool to see him perform. I saw him with our past guests, Everything Ever. I saw it Valentine's Day, and which is ironic because it's like really sad
Yeah.
stuff. But it was cool. He goes on stage and he's like, "My name's Aaron West," and like he's really in character, and he has all these anecdotes between all the songs. And then once he finishes his set, he says, "All right, I'm gonna go back to the merch table just a minute, but I just need like 1 second to like break character and kind of just like get myself together and kind of transition back into, you know, Dan Campbell." And he takes that minute, and then he goes back and he talks to people, and a lot of people were wearing Wonder Years shirts, and it was very apparent that, like, that's the reason they came, which is cool, which is awesome, but it's definitely stuff that you would never hear on, like, a Wonder Years record, but it was still cool. It was fun. I like the stories that went with it. I'm a big fan of that.
Which,
Question.
the first song... yes, Mr. Peppers.
Tony!
Sorry. From someone who hasn't seen Aaron West live and hasn't seen any videos or anything, what is this persona? I don't know the difference between Aaron West and Soupy.
It's not, like, elaborate or anything, but...
Oh, okay.
It's like,
well, you know what?
Sorry, go ahead.
I would definitely say it's a little elaborate. I mean, like, you have, like, you know, Soupy, like, being himself, but then, like, he pretty much, like, put together, like, a character sheet.
It's like a mental transformation. It's not like he's like dancing around stage or anything, but he's
in the zone.
He tells stories. He's
100%.
in the zone, and that's why he needs that minute to like transition out. But he talks about he's like, oh, like my parents, my mom was a very, very Catholic woman, very, you know, reserved into herself, and she said the only thing that mattered about our family was, oh, what will the women at church say, and like all these things, and stories about his dad's car, and it was just, he got really
because that's one of the songs.
Yeah, he got really into it, like, in an emotional sense, and it's cool. It creates an atmosphere. Like, he wasn't with, like, the Roaring 20s. It was just him and a guitar and, like, a small, like, it was on a college campus, so it was in, like, an auditorium of sorts. It kind of looked like a middle school dance gym with, like, a disco ball going, but it was really cool.
With a disco ball.
It was disco ball going, and I was like, this feels like a middle school dance. But he creates an atmosphere. It's really impressive. So I'm excited to see him do that on Warped, especially because everyone knows him, like, as with the Wonder Years. So it'll be a cool transition. But we need to talk about Paris. And
I was going to say, be like, how do you feel about Paris taking the acoustic basement?
Okay, but, like, the thing is, because they were already
Ashley
announced.
Nicole has, like, really broke.
I'm so excited. But the thing is, because I saw...
I'm not gonna lie. My Google Plus Hangout kind of broke for a little bit.
Sorry. Let me diminish my fangirlness. But the fact that they're playing what I assume was like a regular Warp stage and the acoustic basement stage, like, I'm so excited, you guys. I've missed chances to see them like 3 times this year, and I'm just. They are the must-see for me at Warped. Like, that's the thing. I had to miss their set last year for Beartooth. I was so mad. I saw, like, one song, and just... Guys, Paris is really important to me.
It's very important.
In case you haven't noticed.
In case you haven't noticed. Now, I'm 90% sure this is their first, their Warped Tour and also acoustic basement performance.
They did Warped Tour last year, but it was only, like, a string of dates. And Hartford, which is the date I went to, was, like, their last date. But this year they're on the whole thing, and they're doing acoustic basement, so I'm curious to know if it's, like, every other day, or, like, is it both 2 sets in one day? I don't know, but either way...
A lot of the bands I know who've done that do it every single day, just both stages.
Just both sets? I'm so excited for that. I'm going to be up there at the front, like sitting there like, I love you. Except I'm going to be, like, professional and also punk as fuck at the same time, so...
Just, like, sitting, like your arms just, like, crossed. It's just, like, internally just, like, but, like, up front, you're just, like...
So, like, on the outside, I'm going to be that person sitting there, like, arms crossed, like, yeah, okay.
Casually just, like, tapping the foot.
But on the inside... On the inside, just think about Buddy the Elf running around the revolving doors. Like, you know how he's really excited about everything? That's gonna be me. And, like, the set time.
Just let your face get real big like you had before and excited, but then arms crossed. Turn half away. Like, what the fuck? That girl is excited and cool and punk as fuck.
She's excited but punk as fuck.
I wish I could be all those things in real life. But, yes. Anyway, I am beyond excited for them. Acoustic basement was never really a thing for me. It's not that I thought the artists there weren't talented, but there's never anyone I was like, yes, like, I have to go see them. And so I'm excited to kind of experience that vibe this year.
Well, there you go. And we have this... Eric, go ahead.
I was going to say, those small, tent Warped Tour vibes are really cool. I remember before they had Acoustic Basement, they had a different stage. It didn't directly turn into it, but they used to have a stage called Code of the Cuts, which was an all, like, underground hip-hop stage. and it'd be like half no-name people and half like, how the fuck they get Immortal Technique on this thing? Like, how the shit did, I'm trying to remember who else was, yeah, whatever. But those were really cool, because you could just hang out there all day, and the artist had nowhere to go. It was just a tiny tent. And so it typically pack the place out with people, and it's just a really intimate show, and then you just hang out with whoever. It's nice.
Yeah, from the current lineup that we have for the acoustic basement, I'm seeing it's going to be like a lot of people like coming and going. But the one name that's sticking out here, Koji.
Yeah, I'm stoked to see Koji. I was just about to say that. Koji and Transit are
Koji
probably
and
going to be
Transit.
my top acoustic ones.
Yeah, absolutely. And like anyone that knows Koji's product, I'm actually a little surprised that he would do Warped, only in the sense that I don't want to say like, elite is kind of like still listen to Koji and wouldn't catch themselves at Warped, but I feel as if it's a different crowd that.
Well, he did it a couple years ago. He did it, I think it was 2012. I know the Wonder Years and Into It Over It were on it that year.
Yeah,
But,
like that's the like it's like the old.
That sounds like a
yeah.
great acoustic basement set. I would love to see that.
I don't think there would be a big enough tent.
I agree.
Yeah, like that would just like if when they came to Camden, it'd just be like, oh, I'm sorry, here, there are other bands playing Warped Tour. I'm only here for the acoustic tent to see Into It Over It.
Well, he did acoustic. He did acoustic that year. So, I don't know.
Yeah, but that was way back when. But so yeah, so that seems exciting. I have yet to purchase my ticket for Warped, and I'm really regretting it because it's going to be like $500 million at this point. But I definitely will be attending this year, regardless of the price point.
You could
so.
always volunteer or street team, which is what I did in high school. And
Really?
still do. Yeah.
Speaking of high school. Ooh, I transition. Continue the rest of your point.
No, that's exactly where I was taking it. You picked up exactly what I was.
I'm picking up
down for you.
what you're throwing down.
You prematurely transitioned.
Speaking, I do that quite a lot. Speaking of high school stuff, and Tony had brought up something about guilty pleasures. I picked up this beautiful shirt from my good friend Kat, Scary Kids, which is one of my favorite bands of all times, which is kind of a guilty pleasure. Scaring Kids. Now, I've loved them forever. I recently just got into a kick of old kind of like, screamo-ish type of. I never really knew what genre to throw them in because I got into high school, so I just like knew nothing about music. I just said, "Oh my God, they rock!" And bands like
They rock. You can say that today, right? They rock.
Did you
They
go
rock.
like this?
they rock. Yes, just
They
like this.
rock.
Catch me at a Scary Kids show, just going like this, like the entire time.
We used to do that, and it was just what people did.
But Scary Kids, I Set My Friends on Fire, Drop Dead Gorgeous. These have been like the three bands that have been playing at least half the day at my local Hot Topic store. And they're kind of been my guilty pleasure. And so I wanted to extend to you guys, what has been your guilty pleasure kind of band that you've kind of held on to?
Well, I brought up this topic.
Yes, you did.
Hoping
And
that
we
we
were
could
going...
talk about whatever, but my specific guilty pleasure is so much worse now because you went with Scary Kids, a band that has cred, and my guilty pleasure is a song that you hear on the radio a lot now. But okay, so there is a song with
if it's Uptown Funk, I
Nope.
understand.
Nope. No.
Uptown Girl.
That's not. All right, you guys, you got to give me a moment because I'm really embarrassed by this. All right, so there's a song with Neo going around, and there's someone else in the song, but I'm not going to say it yet. But the song's called "Time of Our Lives," and it's really good, and I really like the part with Neo in it. But Pitbull is in it. And the more I hear it, the more I'm not even upset that Pitbull's in it. I'm like, what an asshole. These are the worst lyrics ever, but you kill it. Do your thing, Pitbull.
Do your thing, Pitbull. Darling, you're just in the car, just like, ooh, darling. Like, you're just like really getting into it.
Like, it comes on, and I'm like looking out the window at the guy next to me. I'm like, Mr. 305. But, like, it's so
You have it
good.
on your iPod, you're walking around, Mr. 305.
Yeah, I walk into American Eagle. I walk into my job, and I'm like, Mr. Worldwide. But,
Just like
They're
an
like, go
all
home.
white suit.
You don't work here.
yeah,
You don't work here anymore. It's
actually-
all white.
I'm thinking about going bald, actually.
Do it. You won't.
Get that pit bull.
Well, we're drinking, so with enough persuasion.
Let's not.
We're gonna make some modern baseball decisions tonight.
Yeah.
Eric, I know you got a guilty pleasure band.
Yeah. So this is bullshit because my first guilty pleasure band, if we're defining it as bands you loved that you felt bad about loving because they were like really big on the radio and everyone around you, especially all people who listen to alternative music, thought they were the shittiest thing ever. The first band like that for me would have been Blink-182. And then, of course, they go and get cred, and I lose that. The next band that
not just like cred, like complete like god status.
They were when I was like in middle school and high school into them. I was the one who was like, "Oh, you listen to Blink? That's not real punk. Get the fuck out of here."
Oh no, you were that person.
Yeah. Well.
Oh, Eric.
Just giving you a collective hug right now.
I need to listen to more Crass and not know how melody works. So so then I got really into, like, in early high school, Good Charlotte blew up. And I was like, oh, they're really good. And everyone's like, what a piece of shit band.
Yo, that
like everybody hates. And then now all of a sudden they got cred like 2 years ago somehow.
2 years ago?
Good Charlotte has cred.
Okay, sorry. As soon as I joined DPP, and I was like, oh, okay, obviously no one's going to like Good Charlotte. And they were so fucking popular. I don't know. But then now, so
all of Eric's guilty pleasures is like enjoyed by everybody.
Yeah, I know, it's stupid. So then now I have a real guilty pleasure, and if this somehow winds up with cred 10 years from now, I'm Nostradamus. The end. That's it. It's fucking Carly Rae Jepsen, one of my favorite fucking artists right now.
Yeah.
She is so good, and not just your Call Me Maybe, although that's phenomenal. That's just a trend.
That song is great. Anyone who says otherwise is a lie.
That whole record is so fucking good. She basically, here's what she did. Let me clue you a little bit on some Carly Rae Jepsen. So sit down. She ripped off her producer. Let's be honest. Her producer ripped off like every Katy Perry hit, every Kesha hit, and every Lady Gaga hit, and had her sing new words over top of them, and they're phenomenal. I'm telling you, that CD is amazing. KISS Kiss, motherfucker.
Drop the album name and everything. Chase it down with a beer. That is God's word right there.
Her new single just came out. I haven't listened yet. I'm excited.
I saw that. Like, Facebook was all like, oh, Carly Rae Jepsen. I'm like, oh, she's still around?
And you looked up sponsored post.
Sponsored post, pretty much. They have to be paying for some of the shit I see. It's like Kanye West said a word. It's like,
I know he did. I love him.
I've actually yet to listen to some of the new stuff that he's been putting out, but that's no hero there. Ashley, Nicole, what is your guilty pleasure stuff? Which you wear things like pretty much on your sleeve, so I'd love to see what you listen to when no one's looking.
That's the thing, is like I don't have I remember who was it? I think it was like a Dave Grohl quote where it's like, who fucking cares if you have guilty pleasures? Like, if you want to listen to Kesha, you fucking listen to Kesha. Like, I'm of that mindset, and like I think back in like high school, before I can like remember what my actual guilty pleasures were, I was like, okay, like I have guilty pleasures, and then afterwards, after like a couple years, I was like, oh my god, who fucking cares? Because my approach to music, at least as like someone who like consumes music, is like, okay, listen to whatever you want, and don't bash someone for music that they like. I just think that's so stupid. It's like the worst kind of elitism. It's like, you can't put those noises in your ears because I don't think it's right. Like, shut the fuck up, dude. Like,
you got the backhand going and everything.
So your answer, so if I can sum up what you're saying, your answer is Justin Bieber. That's what this is leading to.
I'm not a Bieber fan. I'll listen to like any like fun like top 40 like dance music. I remember like the beginning of this year, when Anaconda first got released by Nicki Minaj, I was like, because I lived next door to a frat house this semester, and I was like, oh my god, if this part of me was like, I want this song to be every frat party song because I love it, and I don't mind listening to it, like I love it. But then I was like, wait, I don't want it to be my frat party song because then it's just going to be over, like, I'm going to hear it too much and it's not going to be as fun a song anymore.
Yeah.
But, like, I'll listen, I don't know.
But you don't even hear anything and think, oh, I shouldn't like this. This is so good.
No.
My music taste is
like-
just so good.
It's just so. Oh,
No,
God.
it's okay. I'm the first to admit, like, I have, like, not that I have a shitty music taste, but I just kind of, like, listen to whatever, and everyone's like, oh, what kind of genres of music do you like? I don't even say, like, directly, I don't say, like, pop punk, because, like, it's not like I exclusively listen to pop punk. I keep doing this. I gotta stop doing that.
You would just been like talking to these niggas way straight for like the past like a whole
I
night.
have been realizing it. I'm trying to make
Jesus,
a goddamn
Ollie. I was
point.
going to say a Kevin Hart thing because the white people would get it, but fine. Just.
Wait, what Kevin Hart quote are you? Well, that's
does
what I
it.
think.
No,
You
no,
pop
no.
the words out.
I'm just trying. Yeah, I believe
Let me
that
check my Spotify.
I believe that black comedians are the white people's window into black culture, and I would bet a good portion of. And this is growing up with Chappelle's show. That was like I was like every time an episode came out, white people everywhere. Oh my God, that's what skeet means.
Oh, God.
But that's what when I saw Kevin Hart do the like your hand I was like people are gonna think like white people are gonna think that's just a Kevin Hart thing and
Eric, learning black culture through Kevin Hart and Dave Chappelle.
I don't learn it. I already knew that shit. Come on, I had Chronic 2001 when it came out in '99 for some reason, and they talk about skeeting all the time. I was up on that shit.
Look, just like don't listen to like Cat Williams and like you'll know like how an average black man should
Jesus,
operate.
I can't cat. I can't cat with it. I just can't do
You
it.
can't cat with
I
it.
can't. I'm not pimpin', I guess.
Pimpin'. Anyway, but the one guilty pleasure that I think I can actually like now start to admit to after taking a few more listens, there's this girl that I work with at Hot Topic. Her name is Daria. Cool shit. And she's been begging me to put Falling in Reverse on my phone.
Oh, I was gonna mention Falling in Reverse. Fuck,
And-
God, that's awesome.
And I've been listening to it, and it's actually been growing on me.
That motherfucker can write a chorus like it's his what's his job, but like it's his job.
It is his job.
It is actually his job.
I remember last year around this time we were listening. I don't think it had been released around this time. I was at South by, and it was myself and one of my friends and a few other POZ writers. We were all staying in like the same apartment because one of the writers goes to UT Austin, so we just stayed with her. And we were listening to what's it called? It's called Alone. The first line is like "White boy on the beat, rocking Gucci sneaks."
Oh
And
wait, are we
Yeah.
talking about his rap album? Because like no.
it wasn't even.
Jesus.
It was an album. It was like Ronnie Radke and like whatever guys had seen haircuts
that was
wearing.
on, I think that was on Fashionably Late, and it was just some song where one of the ones he rapped on, and that verse was insane. It was
The verse
one
is
of the worst
hilarious.
things
I
you've
like
ever
just watched that video recently,
He doesn't
but I
know
remember
that though.
the first like impression we all had of that video because I'd heard the song, but that was the first time I'd seen the video. Was like with everyone in Austin, and someone goes, "It's like the Temptations, but with breakdowns." Because they're all wearing white suits except for
Oh, the look. I was like, was he
Stop.
deaf?
No, see.
no, because they're all the guys are wearing like white suits, and then Ronnie's like up in front, like doing
That fucking
like,
drug, it's not Motown,
I
it's
can see that.
Snowtown. That's fucking Ronnie Radke's Temptation.
Motown,
listened to-
Snowtown.
although
Wait,
the
hold
first
on.
is
Yay.
the
He's
Fate
kinda like,
album.
yay.
Perfect.
Now I think I want to get the joke you just made, Eric. But see, I don't want to seem racist and have to make an apology later.
Snowtown,
No, Snow-
I think, is a Coke joke, not a white
Yes.
joke.
Okay, all right, we're going with cocaine. That's where we. That's the story, and I'm
Absolutely.
sticking to it. There we go.
Never a dull moment here at Babetalk.
Never a dull moment over at Babetalk. Dousing fires one week at a
Into
time.
that.
Dude, you know, so before we move on to any other, has everyone gone with Guilty Pleasures yet?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure we
Yeah,
have actually
I
now
I really
covered
didn't
all.
really have any,
yeah.
so I feel like I kind of copped out.
because your
on it,
taste
sorry.
is so good. It's okay.
It's not. I'm the
Well, you
first
said-
person to admit that I have like really shitty, horrible like taste in music. Like I still actively listen to like Attack and A Day to Remember and My Chemical Romance. Like all this shit that you would play in Hot Topic, Ollie, that was like 2007.
Well, see, like I love 2007, so it's also it's constantly playing.
We
in
all
my
love
store.
2007.
I would've-
2007 was a beautiful time. It was a great year. Everything happened.
I have
Everything did.
I have one answer, I guess. There was a like power pop, like very synth driven neon power pop band that submitted to Showcase last winter, and they're called Water Parks. They're from Austin, Texas, ironically, because I was just talking about that place. And it's like it's like Forever the Sickest Kids, but 2014, and it was their big song was called what was it called? It's called New Wave, and the video is like really weird. It's like zany and fun, and then it gets really trippy in the
They're
middle.
called
It's really
water
strange.
parks, and the song is called New Wave. Are they all
Yeah,
like
isn't
water
that
themed? That's
perfect?
fantastic.
And in the beginning of the showcase feature, I really wanted to write like water parks are really making a splash, and I'm like, no, I can't.
Stop.
Do that.
It's
Making
just
a
crazy enough
splash
to
in
work.
your scene.
I was gonna do that, and there was another band called Circle Waves that I was gonna say the same thing about, but then I was like, no, I gotta have some
Do they
dignity.
just play old wave songs?
No.
Yes, it's just like all vaporwaves. If you guys are in a vaporwave band, POZ is looking to showcase your band.
No, don't. You know what? I'll make my mom listen to that when we go through submissions again.
We should interview like a vaporwave producer though, because I think it'd be the funniest thing. I feel like he'd just be like coding out the
I
whole
just like
episode.
just like a whole big thing of just like lean,
just double cupped, just the whole episode, just so
just
now,
totally lean out,
So
wearing like
Yeah.
a fucking Kangoo bucket hat with sunglasses.
smoking swishers the whole episode.
My life goal: young lean on Babe Talk. That's what we're doing. So I guess this is where we would transition into band questions because we pretty much covered our first two topics. I don't want to get into our stories just yet. I have a bunch of I think we're going to do like our first things. We're going from like first concerts to first like merch stuff. First CD we picked up, first band that kind of got you into everything. We'll give our stories as to how we really want to get involved in the music scene. But first, let's just get some background as to what got us kicked in. And me and Tony were talking about merch earlier. Excuse me, and talking about our hot topic pieces. My first piece of, I want to say, band merch was an old Fall Out Boy shirt, and if anybody remembers it, it was a kid with a snotty nose, crudely drawn face portrait with snot coming down his nose, and it says Fall Out Boy at the bottom of it. And I was like, oh, this is cool. And I really didn't realize who Fall Out Boy was until, I want to say, Under the Cork Tree, Infinity on High era, like right in between that. And I was like, oh, this band's cool, and now I have their shirt. Look at fucking me, I'm a cool kid. So, do you guys remember? Do you guys remember what your first piece of band merch T-shirts was?
Mine was also a Fall Out Boy shirt. It was really cool. It was this white T-shirt. This was back right before my growth spurt in puberty. It was that's how old this shirt is. It was a youth large. That was the size of this. And
Wow,
then,
youth larges.
yeah, within a month, I was into an adult medium. I was so sad. But it was this white shirt. It had like birds on it and like this blue and black
I didn't get the laugh it
design.
deserved. That was great.
Because
Later, I was in an adult
I'm
medium.
imagining Tony in like a crop tee now.
Yeah, like well,
Going
no.
to work to a crop tee.
Your Fall Out Boy
Look.
shirt is up to your navel. It's looking so
Bring it the
sad.
blue style.
Luckily,
I
I was
style.
You had
Winnie the
both
Pooh.
hands stuck in. Oh, it's great.
Out of like the crowd trying to like crowd surf.
Instead of getting his head stuck in like a honey pot, it's in like a pizza box. You guys.
we're laughing, but the goal was I was gonna wear that shirt tonight, but I couldn't find it. But I don't know. I was really excited about it. My mom, I have one of those moms who are like, no, you cannot go into Hot Topic. That is the devil's store. I will not buy you shit from there. You won't get anything. And then one day, I convinced her to buy me this Fall Out Boy shirt, and nothing was the same.
You gave the hallelujah hands.
I could. Oh man, almost every like transitional moment I can quote with naming a Drake album. If you're reading this, it's too late. Nothing was the same.
Nothing was the same. Oh, that's too
Started from a you small, now we here. Started from a you small, now my whole crew's fucking medium adult.
Was that
Oh,
Ronnie
that's so
Radke
funny.
lyrics?
It was. I remember that song absolutely. Eric, what was your first shirt?
Oh my god. Falling in Reverse, Ronnie Radke, Rap Edition. Ronnie Radke. Alright, so the more I drink, the more puns are going to come out. Alright, sorry. So I had a weird I had a weird intro into going to shows. The first show I ever saw was Papa Roach, because I was 14 and that album had just dropped, because that shit was... That's the earliest easycore. Yeah, I'll say it. I don't care. But here's the thing, though. It was another 2 years before I went to a bigger show. Like, so I had only ever seen local bands for like a 2-year period between Papa Roach and every other big band I'd seen.
Wow.
And so I'd say the first, probably, I don't know for sure, but probably the first shirt, like merch I ever bought, was a shirt from a band called the Mr. Vas Deferens, who was, you know what that is? Yeah.
Same.
They were a ska band without a horn section. It was pure lunacy.
So like surf ska?
No, it was take a ska band, any ska band,
yeah.
remove the horn section. Same style of drumming, same style of guitar, same style of bass, only one guitar, same type of vocals and like weird lyrics for the or fun.
Yeah, that's like I would imagine that would be like more surf.
Because well,
like almost no doubt, no doubt.
Not even close. It was Real Big Fish. Take out the horn section. Everything is not even Real Big Fish. More like Less Than Jake or somebody who's more like ska punk. But But it was, and for years I wondered why. I was like, why don't they have a horn section? They did. They just all like kept getting grounded or whatever. And so they like they would just said fuck it, get rid of those guys. And eventually I saw them play with a horn section. I was like, oh, that's what it's supposed to sound like. But anyway, then dozens of other bands that no one like them, no one else would have ever heard of, except for this band. I voted for Kodos, which was probably a year and a half, 2 years into seeing local shows. And I wish I had thought to wear the shirt for this topic, but I just, they put out like a reunion album, just did like a quick tour, reunion album, and did a Kickstarter for it. And one of the perks that I got was the last remaining copy of their first run of shirts for their first CD.
Nice.
So I have that upstairs. And they're still, to this day, one of my favorite bands of all time. Like, in my top 10, definitely. And so it was really cool to like have that opportunity to get all that shit.
VV cool.
Nice.
AshNics.
Alright, my first merch and like first show, right? Okay, my first piece of merch that I can remember, it might not have been the first one, but I'm pretty sure it was, okay, well that's a lie. The very first piece of merch I had was Backstreet Boys, and it was a nightgown, and my grandma got it for me. I was like 6. I remember it very clearly, and now that I think back to it, I'm like, wow, that's a really strange thing. But it's very, to me, that's like really 90s. I don't know. And then my first, the actual like first punk piece of merch, I guess, if Backstreet Boys isn't punk enough for you guys.
Oh, they're very punk.
It was definitely a Green Day shirt. It was, because that was like, Green Day was one of like the first bands like I really got into, and like it was so important. It was like right in the height of like American Idiot, and then my friend gave me all of their old CDs. Like I think I still have a bunch of them. Like she gave me Dookie and was it 1000 Slappy Hours?
Just call it Smooth.
Smooth Out Slappy Hours. That's what it is.
Yep.
Something like that. Close enough. And the shirt was like. It was like dark green, like army green, and it had the heart grenade in the center and like wings. It was very emo, and I got it.
No, I know what you're talking about. I wanted that shirt.
Did you really?
I know exactly what you're talking about.
Tony's 12-year-old self just like kicked in, just like, wait, I wanted that shirt. Like,
no, there's
do you have any in
I want to.
youth medium?
Tony's wearing a crop top to work this year.
Catch Tony at a Koji session.
Yeah, I'm gonna wear my Fall Out Boy crop top and a flower crown and go watch Koji.
Oh my god.
The Tumblr
I would
aesthetic.
pay money for that.
I'm gonna make some cut off jorts. And
Anyway, that was my first shirt, and I remember to wear with it, which I don't think I ever wore together, but I really wanted them. They had like little hand warmers, like little like short ones, and it was black, and it had not like the knit ones, but they were just like fabric, and it was black, and it had stars on it, and I was like, oh my god, I'm so punk, and it was not a good look for me. But I don't know what I was reaching for, but I'm waiting really patiently for it.
I know. Keep waiting to come out.
I'm coming to an emo realization. Those are hand warmers? Those aren't just like an emo excuse for gloves? Yeah, they're called hand warmers?
Well, like, that's what I knew them as. I think it's what the tag said. It was like, oh, hand warmers or palm warmers. But it's basically like an excuse to wear, like, fingerless gloves. It
Okay.
wasn't even like it looked like a pair of gloves with the tips of the fingers cut off. It was like literally like it just covered like.
No,
here.
I know exactly what you're talking about, but I never knew they were
really
called
wanted
hand
them.
warmers.
It's a wool wrist protector.
It
Yeah.
wasn't even
Do a
wool.
lot of
It was
good.
like a piece of fabric. And I had a pair of those, and I also had a pair of like, I mean, those were like they stopped at the wrist, but I had ones that went all the way down to the elbow. They were black and white striped, and I remember I wore them on like a field trip once because we were outside and it's really cold. And my teacher was like, "That's a really smart idea. Where'd you get those?" And I was like, "Hot Topic."
So when you went out, you wore them because it was real cold outside?
It was
Was it
really
re-
cold. They were like
was it-
warm. These ones were like socks, so they
Was
felt
it really
like
cold? But seriously, I want to know, was it really cold inside too?
It was so cold.
You are so dumb. Oh my
All
god.
the emo jokes.
All the emo jokes. Now, see, I'm actually looking for my
I
My
haven't used
Chemical
them since
Romance.
2006.
I love
Since
those
2006.
things. Oh, I love
Yeah,
I
that's
them.
I can't find them. And now that you talked about your school finding them to be a really cool thing, I almost ruined a family vacation because of my fingerless gloves.
Oh,
What?
I want to
We have
say
to go back.
we have to go back. It was back when we went to Washington D.C. and like it was like a nice family trip. But it was like right in the height of like my weird scene-ish experimental with music kind of thing. All I wore graphic T-shirts from fucking Kohl's and Converses with like rainbow laces and shit, and I had the glasses with the lenses that served no purpose, and My Chemical Romance fingerless gloves that I wore every fucking wear, and they were my little pride and joy. And whenever we took pictures over at like the Lincoln Memorial or fucking at like the White House,
did you go like this?
Oh no! I just like had them. I posed very like precariously so that like the pockets were like this, and then like the gloves were just like out like that. So it said like My Chemical Romance. And eventually, my mom like started to catch on, and she was like, "No, you gotta take those gloves off." I was like, "No, mom, I want to keep my gloves on." And like, it's got like way like into like too big of a hissy fit in front of like a restaurant or in front of like a fucking like a historical place like the fucking monument. You just see like random black family arguing with their kid about like their kids' My Chemical Romance gloves.
No, there's a great picture of me like in our living room, and I had like the same thing. Like, I want to say between like 7th and hello, go take the dogs. Between like 7th and 9th grade, I was like in the height of my scene phase, and there's a really great picture of me with like my cousins are visiting from Virginia, and my grandma was visiting from Florida, and it was like a big family thing. And my parents were like, "Oh, let's get a picture with all the kids and grandma." So everyone's like, wearing like whatever you wear as like a 10-year-old. And I'm sitting there. I'm wearing a white Misfits hoodie. It had little Misfits logos printed all over it. I'm wearing like a bright yellow band T-shirt. I had like one local band shirt, and the band was called Gentlemen and Scholars. And I was so fucking proud to own that thing because I thought it was really cool and obscure. And during freshman year, for my birthday present, my mom took me to get the like under layer of my hair dyed pink. So it was like a bright fuchsia. And my hair was in braids. So all these colors, all of these obscure band names, everyone's looking normal. And I'm in the back like, "Hey, I'm so fucking punk over here." It was just, I should post that picture in the staff chat because you guys would
Yes, you
laugh.
should.
I would absolutely love to see that picture. You are 100% correct.
So I
right,
feel
so-
like everyone had those
yeah.
merch phases.
So this isn't band merch particularly, but I feel like you guys go pee, Tony. It's okay.
Tony, you're such a
Just go pee.
go
He's sending the
pee,
text.
Tony.
Can I
Tony,
pee, you guys?
some
Tony P has to
context. Some context. Tony has been asking us in the chat that no one can see. Hey,
I've
guys.
been asking. It's the same minute. I said, "Hey, teacher, can I go to the bathroom?"
Yes, with his hand raised. Yes, Mr. Peppers, you can use the bathroom.
I tried to be professional. I said, "Hey,
Yeah, no, Tony's sitting there like, I
do
tried
we still
to be
do
discreet
bathroom
about
breaks? Like,
Go
can I
ahead,
just
Tony,
get up?"
go ahead.
Okay, bye.
Go ahead. Okay, bye. Tony.
So you guys openly embarrassed yourselves about the kind of fashion that you were into in high school. Since I went at a few, like, whatever, probably like 5 years before some of you, more than that for some of you. When I was in high school, the punk thing to dress as was, and this is like punk is in full goddamn swing right now. If you didn't look like a member of Anti-Flag, you could get the fuck out.
Oh my god!
basically.
Actually, you know what? Yeah.
It was like bullet belts, fucking chains
Oh
on
my
chains.
god, I wanted a bullet belt so bad. I'm so glad I never bought one.
You either had a mohawk or Liberty Spikes or a tri-hawk, which was a failed experiment. Mohawk.
Ooh,
I had
sounds
Liberty
like
Spikes
Rufio
all
from
the time.
Hook.
Pretty much, you had. Oh, you know what? That's a much better. That's a much better joke. You had to look like one of the Lost Boys.
One of the
in order to
Lost
be punk
Boys.
rock. That's what you had to look
It was
like.
just Rufio.
Shout
Only
out to
Rufio
Miranda
looked like
City.
Punk. Oh my god.
But like it was actually very, very weird because like I'm pretty sure on the coattails of that, like, you know, Anti-Flag kind of like what their hype, would I say, died around the same time as Green Day started to, like, you know, get their full upswing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's weird because that's the other thing is Green Day's biggest album, according to sales, is '94, which is when I got that record. Also, I started really young. I was like 8 or 9, so it's not like I was 18 when Dookie came out. But when they came back out and like had American Idiot success, that was 2004, 2005. I would definitely give Anti-Flag till about 2007. Basically, when Bush left office was when punk was like, oh, I guess we don't need this anymore.
You know what's funny?
We don't need the band depends on.
Because I have, like, literally right here, I have my friend for Christmas, we was like Secret Santa in 7th grade, and she gave me a poster, and it's the Rolling Stone cover with Green Day on it from like 2005, and it says, Green Day had the brats grew up, bashed Bush, and conquered the world.
But see, I'm trying to remember, was
Those
Green Day
brats.
was Green Day all that political?
Yes, American
Very
Idiot.
political album.
Well, just on American Idiot. So the thing with the first 3 records, the first record, if you listen to Smooth Out Sloppy Hours, the 3 EPs they threw together, they're all about, like, it's punk music, but singing about girls. And then he would do fucking Chuck Berry-style guitar solos over top of everything, which is sweet, but it was like, that's the first thing where, like, local people were like, oh, that's not punk. And then Kerplunk was more about girls. And so it was like, it still sounds punk, but it's about girls, so it's not punk enough. Dookie came out, and they didn't do political stuff, but they did, like, the punk rock lifestyle. They did, we're getting high, we're falling asleep, we're taking naps, big into naps, and we're getting out of our town, we're living in a shitty area. Like, that was it. But they didn't stem the political thing until American Idiot, which is kind of an interesting step to take that far into a very successful career.
I think it would have gotten stale otherwise. I mean, I'm not saying they weren't good at what they did, but...
You mean
like,
Warning wasn't one of your favorite Green Day albums?
Warning was a great
Shenanigans
album.
didn't do it for you?
Shenanigans, I almost bought... They had, at Hot Topic, they had a Shenanigans record, like a vinyl record, and I was like, oh man, I'm about to buy this. But I didn't. I didn't have enough money, but I was like, I really want this. But that was like, I think they're all great albums, but American Idiot was like, whoa, shit,
That
this
album's
got
insane.
serious.
It's unreal insane. Lyrics aside, that record is like a huge step in... You okay, Tony?
No, Ashley was talking about records, and I remember that I bought Bright Eyes, I'm Wide Awake, It's Morning this weekend. I just remembered I have it in my car. Sorry.
If you're gonna buy one, that's the record to buy. Get you lifted out of here. It's I'm Awake, It's Morning.
Yeah.
Tony had this weird realization with himself, like, out of nowhere, just like... and
No,
no
I
one
was
made
like,
mention
vinyls?
of it, and then, like, I was,
Vinyls?
like, internally pissing myself. But, like, Eric...
We're talking about how great Green Day's American Idiot is, and,
And
Tony
then,
goes,
like, Tony's just over there, just like, oh my god.
It's like, oh, sorry, is that not cool?
Just, like,
enough
totally,
for you?
like face palm to
I was
himself.
triggered.
Everyone that's
I was
listening to-
triggered.
That's not...
Oh my god.
Dear Jesus.
Anyway.
Well, I wanted to also say about the early 2000s punk fashion. This was still where if you were into punk, like half the week you would wear the skinny, usually like skinny black jeans or skinny camo jeans, or you were still wearing fucking straight 90s gigantic Jinko jeans.
Jinko
and,
jeans.
and skateboarding in them. Like
Super
30
flare,
inch
boot
pants.
cuts.
Like, it's insane.
It's like in the
Jinko
70s.
boot cut
It's
is
like in
like
the
the size of a
70s and the
boot.
80s, just like totally combined. It's just like, well, I have to skateboard, but my jeans are too big. What do
I've
I
got
do?
a flaming skull on my pocket.
Fuego, fuego, fuego.
Go watch a Boys Like Girls video back when they were actually good, and you will be surprised at how much fashion has changed.
Like when I
I
saw
think
them
that's
open
amazing. I love
for
that
Cartel in 2004, no big deal, or 5, no big deal.
Did they even have Great Escape back then? Like, what did they play?
I don't know. They were opening a show where a local band was also playing.
Well, anyway, on Green Day, still, since we're on that, that got me into music. Like, I would not, I don't know.
Yeah, me too.
I remember 2005. Shout out to the MTV VMAs in 2005. My Chemical Romance with Helena, Fall Out Boy with Sugar were going down, and Green Day with Boulevard of Broken Dreams were like the summer of 2005. Like, I just want, like, I remember going to my friend's house in Virginia. His name was Alex Case, and I remember getting there and watching MTV because we were like, "Oh, we're going into middle school. We have to be cool. We have to watch grown-up things like no more Nickelodeon. We need MTV. We need to watch like The Simpsons. We need to be cool." So the VMAs were the gateway drug, and I went to his house every day that summer, and we watched these same fucking music videos every day, and we would watch them, and we would love them. And then one day I remember I came to his house, and he was like, "So my mom has a bunch of albums from like the 90s and stuff, and I found this album. It's really good, but we can't tell my mom. There's too much cussing. She can't know that I have this."
Cussing.
And it was Green Day Dookie.
Yep.
Shout out to this kid Alex's mom for having a Green Day CD laying around. Like, yeah.
No, she listened to good stuff. She listened to really good stuff.
I love that. I think parents who are like, not even like parents who are like, you don't have to be a parent who listens to the same music that your child does, but the parents who are like supportive of that and like get along with that. I think that's so great. Like, Eric, I'm really excited for you to have this kid because it's going to be punk as shit. And I'm really excited.
She has a onesie, a Fall Out Boy onesie already that says, "I helped save rock and roll."
Yes!
Oh, God,
Yes!
Eric. I hate you.
I like
Nikki
how Fall Out
likes
Boy's
it.
making. Is it official Fall Out Boy merch, or is someone like
Yeah,
make
yeah.
that for you?
Yeah, we know.
I like the fact that Fall Out
Uh,
Boy's making merch for their
probably.
fans because they know they're having children
Yeah.
at this point.
Yeah.
They're like, wait, let's take a look at the time span. This should be around the same. This should be right.
That works.
Hey, Tony, when you mentioned wearing tiny shirts, Tony shirts, whichever, you reminded me of in 2007, my rap rock group went on tour, and we did a summer tour, and we played this show. Well, every show we played was all bands that were trying to sound like some combination of Fall Out Boy and Taking Back Sunday, and so a lot of emo bands, and I remember at this huge show, it was like the day school let out, so all the kids went to this show in North Carolina, and there's like, it felt like a mile of merch tables. It's like a whole day band thing, and all the bands next to us, this was the scene. It would be these long lines of these really tall, pretty husky, like emo dudes waiting in line impatiently, and merch guys just feverishly searching, throwing shirts back, screaming, "Do we have any more extra smalls? Are there any more extra smalls?"
Oh, I thought this was going to go somewhere along the route of to write love on her arms. I don't know why, but...
I remember that was like a thing though to like back in like the
MySpace days.
2000s. Yeah, the MySpace days where it
Oh,
was
absolutely.
like you would like it was like a bragging right to be like, yeah, I fit into my little sister's jeans. Like a boy to say that. Like that was like a thing.
Oh
And you're
my
like,
God,
that's
absolutely.
strange.
There was
That's
this
weird to
one
me.
kid that walked around our high school. Our high school was only about like, maybe 200 kids tops. And there was always this one kid that was like the most like punk and like aesthetic, like he was human aesthetic walking through like 2000 and fucking like 2008, and like we swore that he got his fucking jeans in like dahlias, and like we all like just like was so envious of just like walking around like, oh, he fits a 28, be like, oh, I wish I wore a 28. and then I slowly realized as like I started to graduate and like looking back now, I'm just like, if I were to own a pair of dahlias jeans, like from, or like what was it, like Justice or whatever, I'm assuming you guys.
Dahlias. Do you mean Delias?
Dahlias.
No, he means Floridian.
Did you say Justice? Back then it was still
That was
limited
on the air,
too.
right?
Limited 2 jeans. I'm like a 10-year-old.
I wanted to love Limited 2 so badly, but then I got into like after like I got introduced to stuff like Green Day and whatever, I was like, oh my, well, I went through a really big tomboy phase, and I was like, I can't like anything pink or glittery, like, oh my God, I can't. So I tried really hard to like shop at like Hot Topic and stuff for everything, but it just wasn't working out. My mom was like, I'm
You
not
just
buying
like punched like the Girl Scouts in the face when like you saw them.
I
At
was a
local
brownie
school.
for like 2 weeks in second grade. I remember very clearly at like one meeting. I was just like not having it. I was like, I don't want to be here. I don't like these girls. And it was like, it's like an after school thing. So,
Yeah.
I'm one of three daughters. So we all went to the same elementary school because like we all fit in like the time frame there. So at one point we're all in the same elementary school. So my mom came to pick us up, like all three, or my older sister and my younger sister, and I was supposed to stay behind and go to Brownies. Mm-hmm. And she was like, all right, I'm leaving you, like, see you, like, at 4, I want to pick you up. And she's leaving, and I'm sitting at this meeting, like, I don't want to be here. I don't want to be here. So I leave the meeting, and I run after my mom in the parking lot, being like, no, I don't want to be here anymore.
Just like totally just like punk as fuck, just stood like really quickly up and just be like, fuck your Brownies, I'm gonna do my own thing.
I don't want to be
like,
here. I'm granted that was in second grade, but that's a really good foreshadow into what I was actually going to be like as an adult.
Oh, that's way too good.
Yeah, I wanted to be like really cool and be like, yeah, I listen to like really obscure bands. So I love Green Day like a lot.
I like really obscure bands like Green Day.
I wanted to be obscure, but like that's why I loved that like one local band shirt I had. I wore that to death. It didn't fit me right. It was like horrible quality, but I was like, I love this and I want to wear it everywhere to like show I listen to music. But it was Green Day, My Chemical Romance, and Paramore. Those are the 3 bands that like really got me hooked and kept me hooked into music, and then like starting to go into like booking shows and like doing actual stuff.
Paramore
All right, so
was
we're
very
getting we're getting like dangerously close to like sharing stories. So we're looking at the 10 o'clock point. I guess it's time to go into our stories as to why we actually had wanted to get into the music scene. We'll start with the grandfather of the group.
Fuck, Tony.
Tony, there we go.
Me first.
No, I can do it. I just wanted to turn that on. Boomerang that.
Well, I mean, like Eric, you come from like a whole different time period in which, well, this
you were there when the Offspring were actually relevant.
I did.
That's when Eric was talking about really early band shirts. He's like, yeah, my shirts are from bands that are really old. I was gonna be like Bach.
Just fucking.
Damn.
It's like varsity lettering. It's.
I can't hear anything, motherfucker.
Yeah, I can. I'm trying really hard every day not to lose my hearing. All right, so, that's Beethoven though.
Look at me in my class.
Holy shit! Hold on. Parker Cannon and D. Ow.
Yes, I was thinking of that. I was gonna say Parker's Cannon, but damn, that was so good.
New Babetalk shirts number 2. There we go. We're on a roll, guys. We're gonna be making money this summer. Hot damn. We're gonna have our own 10 at work tour.
Oh, dude, do you know how hard my dream boner just got right then? Oh my god.
Not the daughter.
My DB.
My DB. Eric, keep it classy. We have women in this group.
Classy, got it. All right, classy story. Okay, so
it's okay. It's fine. We're classy.
And on that note,
I'm
opening up number 2.
Beer. Jesus Christ.
So my dad's a famous jazz guitarist. I've seen his band and a bunch of other bands play a shit ton. I've been around music my whole life, so they were very open about if I ever hear a record I like, let's get that record. And so when Dookie came out, I heard, I guess the first one I heard would have been, I guess it was Longview, but I don't know if I bought the record then. I might have, when Basket Case came out, I think that's when, it jumped from 1 million to, 5 million records. So I got that record, and that one just spurred me right along into The Offspring when Smash came out, into Rancid's and Out Come the Wolves, and I'm sure I got into lots of other 90s stuff like Live and Better Than Ezra and lots of other more mainstream stuff. But I just started loving music, and it took me a while because I was so young. But the bands that I kept getting drawn to were pop punk and ska bands. And so when even though I liked all these other bands, so when I started seeing local bands, that's all you had was metal, ska, punk, and I don't know what, it's all very alternative things. And so that really I went to shows for probably 3 years before I ever played a show. Before I ever did any of that. I was too busy rapping, so don't even worry about that. Yeah, I heard a Busta Rhymes record, and I was like, well, I want to do this. This is what I want to do. But yeah, no, ended up putting together the two, and that was a big harsh realization when I played my first punk show with a bunch of other bands and people that I had built 3 years making the scene with, and then because I was rapping and wasn't, well, no, that's about it. Because I was rapping, they were like, "Oh, fuck this," and I was like, "I thought punk was supposed to be open-minded," and but then I really just got into playing as many shows as possible, playing with a bunch of different bands. And just loved the experience of going to a show, whether I'm playing it or just going. I love being at the show, the backstage before the show, or like just in the empty hall as people are filing in. Being on stage or being up at the front of the stage, just excited of a band, especially in a small club. Like that got me so fucking excited. Like I think I saw my first hall show when I was 14, first small club show when I was 15, and first like big like amphitheater show when I was 18, like that kind of thing. So I just love that tiny venue and always want to be kind of a part of that. And ever since, that's just what I try to get into.
Now, what would you say would be like the thing that attributed to your pop punk kind of punk liking? Like, was there like an actual like
ADHD? I think that's what it is. I know that sounds like a joke, but I really think that's what it is.
No, I like that because the early Green Day songs were like fast, loud. They were short. So, like, I can see how that plays into it. Yeah. Tony, what are you doing?
I spilled my alcohol.
I didn't mean to call you out on it. I was just kidding.
I was trying to be very discreet.
I saw him too. Yeah, my ass. You're like...
I'm on my bed, you guys. Like, I do this on my bed.
Oh,
anyway,
do you not have a Tempur-Pedic mattress where you can just jump on it with a thing of wine?
Yeah, you know what? I'll do this after the show. I'll just...
Priorities.
College cleaning. I'll do it later.
I'll do it later. But so, your ADHD contributed to your...
Mid-tempo, and not necessarily tempo songs, which is what most of the radio has been throughout time, except when, like, certain genres get pretty big, like pop punk. But like mid-tempo stuff, I don't know, it gets me angry and bored. Like I can't deal with it. But like really fast music, whether it's short or not, honestly, it's just if something is fast, like up-tempo, I can get really, really into it. I also love melodies, and pop punk has been very, very melodic. Like that's what's interesting is it's not even that far removed from punk. It's just punk with more melodies. And I think that's like the combination of my love of melody, and that might be, I don't know, genetic or from what I grew up, like, listened to in the womb. I don't fucking know how that works. But, like, I don't know. It's, but definitely, like, the speed of it and that. And then eventually, like, lyrical content was a big fucking deal to me. But I think that just was a coincidence that the lyrical content in those genres matched up with the things I related to.
And now you're also an artist, so like, would you say that like you know, if you didn't get into certain bands as like you know a kid, do you still think you'd be able to transition into like you know a musical lifestyle, or?
Well, definitely, because music was just like you know, it's so hard to think about or not think about, but it's hard to come to a conclusion because I listened to music for so long before I ever tried to make it, so that it was like it never really. I don't think listening to it made me end up making it. However, once I started making it, having that plethora of musical knowledge allowed me to kind of make whatever I wanted. Like I know how to, if I can pick a genre and write a song in it because I'm so, I guess, fluent in so many different genres. And that's why I think a lot of people who, that's probably why I'm not a very good musician. I think I'm okay, but like I think there are better musicians who. They listen to music. They would have listened to Dookie at age 9 or 8, thought it was the greatest thing in the world, just like I did. But instead of doing what I did, which was take 2 spoons and beat a brick wall by the side of my house with them for like 3 years, they would actually pick up a guitar and learn how to play and start writing songs.
And now, and I remember you saying that your father was a musician. Did he actually teach you?
He that goes back to the ADHD. He tried his hardest, but he eventually he taught me, gave me a couple lessons in bass. That was the first thing I learned when I was like 10 or 11. And he gave me a few lessons, and then one day he and my mom came in. I was like, I gotta show you this. Like I learned this song, and I must have played not a single correct note. In fact, I played so many notes, I think I just like walked up and down the bass without being able to tell that it wasn't what the actual song was. And he told me, I still to this day remember the looks on their face. They looked at me like, oh, He's tone deaf. He has no idea. He has no idea. And my dad goes, that was something. And my mom said, wow, you sure played a lot of notes. And
Man, oh man.
7 years later, I learned how to play the instrument for real.
Now, what's the most enjoyable thing that you can say coming from like you being involved in a musical scene?
Probably, honestly, and this has changed throughout the years. At first, it was like for the first probably like 5 or 6 years of performing, it was like getting on stage and getting to express your art, especially when you're doing vocals or even just a song that you personally wrote. And you're like, I made this in my room, or I scribbled this on a piece of paper, and it means so much to me. That's what a lot of people don't know about smaller bands, is that you go and see a random band, a lot of times if they're in their first couple of years, and to you, it's like just some band there, it's kind of annoying sometimes, they're not very good, or like maybe you give them a couple songs of your attention and whatever. But to that band, they spent months and months, or years learning, years writing, months and months preparing. They probably spent the month before that show, once they booked it, so excited, daydreaming about how amazing that show is going to be, or could be, or just getting excited about it. They probably spent that whole day, like, with this pit in their stomach, like thinking all day, like, I cannot wait, I cannot wait, I cannot wait. And they get to the show, and it's 5 people, no one's really paying attention, and they don't make any money, and it costs them a bunch, and people treated them like shit, and they get off that stage, and they're like, this was the greatest thing I've ever done. It's like that feeling. That's always been like the best. But in recent years, like I'm up to, I know plenty of musicians have played far more shows than this, but I think I'm doing okay for a non-professional. But I've played over 200 shows at this point, like just in my quote-unquote career. So like the show aspect of it, I'm used to it. Like I get it. It doesn't give me that pit anymore. It doesn't give the same excitement. If there's a crowd cheering along, yeah, absolutely. But if it's like a normal show, it's whatever. But now what I really love is hanging out with musicians. Like I love like the studio. That's what I love now. Is going to the studio. I went the other day just to watch a friend of mine record a cover. And a bunch of musicians and producers came to the studio. We all hung out, just like talked, shot the shit, drank, whatever, and had the best time. Like, it's just fantastic hanging out with artists.
That's what I want to do. I wish there was a bigger scene here. I would love nothing more than just hang out. I know when I lived in Italy, there was even less of a scene there. But even like our newest writer, Robert, you can even ask him, like, my favorite shit was I would go over to his barracks room. Right across the hall was one of our friends. Everyone would come over and we would just like watch like YouTube videos, or we would just play music. We had a really shitty band called House Guests, and it would
I love these names.
coolest thing. I just like that's the coolest thing ever. And now all he does is he goes to Cincinnati and he hangs out in studios and stuff. But I'm like, that'd be the coolest thing ever. Like, you just show up at the studio, and then you meet people through other people, and next thing you know, you're like, how the fuck am I meeting this guy? This guy's so cool.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Well, that's what I love doing. I love doing this podcast. I love doing podcasts in general, because that's all you're doing. You're hanging out with creative people. You're hanging out with people who, like, let's be honest, we're all into local music as opposed to one of a million other things we could be into, and a lot more popular things that we could be into, or lucrative things we could be into. This is a giant money pit. Like,
lucrative, that's one word.
It's a scheme.
Yeah. We all chose to be here. We all chose to be here for a reason.
Exactly.
Like, we're all here for the same reason, and as many differences that come up, we're here for the same reason, and it's nice to remember that while we're all even just having this podcast. Like, it's fan-fucking-tastic. That's what I love now about it.
Like, this is
Cool.
it. This is the point. This is the point of the scene. This is we're coming together. Ashley, where do you live?
Connecticut.
Ollie, where do you live?
New Jersey.
Eric, where do you live?
Baltimore.
I'm in Alabama right now. Are any of those states the same? Hell no. Hell no.
Wait, is this a trick question?
Exactly, right? But no, we're all so far apart. But we were coming together and we were doing this. This is the shit. I love this so
Well,
much.
Tony Peppers.
We're
Tony
creative
Peppers.
enablers.
Tony Peppers, let's talk about your origin story.
My origin story?
Yeah, how did you get into the music scene yourself?
MySpace. I shit you not.
Actually,
No shame. No shame. Yeah,
Exactly.
absolutely.
But listen, I grew up in Mississippi. we all know about that booming music scene. Best we had is Three Doors Down, One Hit Wonders, and then Afro Man, the one hit wonder who just punched someone in the face.
He had a second hit. Damn it! Yeah.
Yo, that was the funniest joke.
That is so bad. That is so bad.
No, it's Colt 45. You don't remember that one?
That wasn't him. Oh, it was him. Yeah, Colt 45. Yeah, that was a good one. That was the shit. Soulja Boy came from Mississippi also. Soulja Boy came from Mississippi.
Anyway.
But anyways,
Fuck.
no scene. I move over to Sicily, the little Italian island. What about that music scene, right? So then I move back to the States, but where do I go? I go back to school in Mississippi. But my parents moved to Florida, which is cool because that is a great scene, except we live in the Panhandle. What the fuck? And I moved to Mobile because it's one of the closest places with the music scene. And even here, like, there definitely is a scene, but the opportunity to get into it is so low. Not enough cool stuff happens here. But the internet. And it has its downfalls. It has turned me into the biggest introvert. I'm more addicted to my phone, but I will be damned. I will be damned if someone tries to deny me the fact that half of who I am today has come from the internet and the interactions with the people I have made from it. I'm a little bit more combative and I'm a little bit more negative than I would have been if I never found the internet. There are definite negative traits, but I have grown as a person. I have learned some real ass shit from the internet, and the scene on the internet is completely different. Bands you've never heard of, bands that probably live really close to you that you've never heard of, are probably a lot bigger than you think because of the internet. Our first guest, Ashley Cadwallader, she's from California, but even like when I would talk to her, she made it clear like she wasn't that big in California. Like they were a local band and people knew who they were. But on the internet, like, they were big. Like, Smalls was the shit. When Ashley left Smalls, that was it. Like, Smalls still exists. Smalls still does the thing, but
Wait, Smalls who? Smalls who?
Is that a joke, or are you? But like,
I had to throw it.
Yeah, but still, like, it's just so crazy. It's so crazy, and that's my origin story. My origin story, as embarrassing as it is, and as many times as I'll deny it, my origin story is fucking the Defend Pop Punk group, because so many things have spawned from that. So many important things that have happened in the scene have spawned from that. And, I don't know. Ironically, Ollie was an admin of Defend Pop Punk, and then I took his place. And then I said, fuck this! And then Ollie took my place again about a year later.
And then I said, I'm gonna piss my way through this. But, so, with you being so into the internet, do you think that your interest within music scenes would be as predominant if you did not get into the internet scene?
Well, back to 2005, like, watching those VMAs and getting into, like, discovering Fall Out Boy and My Chemical Romance and Green Day, I didn't even know what MySpace was, and if I did, I wouldn't have been allowed to have one because of my mom and dad, because they were, I had those parents, I love them to death, I had those parents, but, like, I wouldn't have had the internet, and I think that when I discovered music, I knew, like, this is it, this is what I need to be around forever. It was, I got the musical clap, it's with me for life, you know, like, it's not going away.
You know, you can treat chlamydia, dude. we can get that taken care of. You okay?
You can actually treat that, man. We have hope for you, Tony. But I mean, like, so you were able to pick up other bands. If you did not, if there wasn't the internet, how do you think you would still be involved within the scene? Because like you did say that you got involved with the MTV bands of the time, like the 2005 Paramore, Fall Out Boy, My Chemical Romance.
Well, I think I would still be doing music. I mean, I did band in middle school, and that also was very, very pivotal. That was very important.
What'd you play?
I played alto saxophone, but then I grew some balls and I started playing tenor. Yeah. Anyways,
nice.
But I think I still knew music was what I needed, and when I lived in Italy, like, there was no music opportunity. I went to school with Kyle from Handguns and Thomas from Landing Feet First, and those guys are very into music. They're better musicians than I'll ever be, but they were important. Like they played music, and I was like, oh, they're the cool kids. Like to me, like that was cool. That was badass. But I would have reached out to them. They told me stuff about music I didn't know before. But even then, Robert, or the writer, when I met him, all we did was talk about music, and he would tell me about shit he did in Cincinnati. And then we went to a show one time. It was a hardcore show in Italy, and this was like the first local show I'd ever been to, and it was nuts. We couldn't find the place. We were looking for this venue, and we were walking by these apartment buildings. We were like, what is going on? We didn't know what was happening. We were like, where is this place? It says it's right here. And then I was like, do you guys hear that? And there was this apartment, and there was like a ramp going down to a garage. And I was like, there's something coming from there. Is that it? I hear music. We were like, no way. And we go in, and there's this house, this one-story house. Or, well, it's like the bottom floor of this apartment complex is just one house. Yeah. And we go in there, and it was something we had never seen. Well, they had seen before, and like what it looks like. We knew what it was, but we had never seen that where we were from. It was like walking into. It was like when it's when the color comes on Wizard of Oz. That's what it was.
Yeah.
And we walked in, and we were like, oh shit. And one of the guys we were with, his name is Alante, he told, someone asked where we were from, and he said, oh, San Francisco. And everyone was like, oh, San Francisco! I know San Francisco! My brother lives in San Francisco! And every night, all of us that were there that were American, they thought our names were San Francisco. People were like, hey, San Francisco! Nice. Like, oh, San Francisco, come on! Like, it was crazy. But it was just a bunch of metal bands played. They were, I don't know, I'll just name drop them. Kano, Holy, and Always Never Fun were playing. And we go in there in this tiny-ass basement room where it's probably 8 feet high. Like, Ollie's fro would brush it if he still had it. But it would brush the roof. But people were still crowd surfing, and it was so crazy. I had dust stains on my knees from the ceiling. Not the floor, not other people, the fucking ceiling. And that was the shit. Maybe I'm drunk, but this...
No, you would be able to, yeah.
I mean, maybe I'm drunk really right now, and I'm feeling more nostalgic about this than anything, but no, one of the best nights of my life.
So what would you say would be, like, the most enjoyable thing, like, the same question I extended to Eric, what would be the most enjoyable thing that you have pulled from now being a part of a music scene?
Like, what do you think, like, my biggest thing?
Like what's the most
thing
enjoyable
that sticks
thing
with me the most, like, the most, like, gratifying thing where I've been like, damn, this is the shit, is probably when we had Becca on the show, and she said that this was one of her favorite things. Like, that sticks with me, man. I don't know. Becca's the shit. A little dank queen.
Man, that hits. Our little dank queen, but for real though, she is.
She is.
Now, see, it's very interesting to get, like, everyone's perspective, because, like, all of us come from a different background. I mean, we have Eric that actually plays in a band, Tony that's, like, has been in band, but hasn't, like, been, like, an official pop-punk band. We have AshNic that does journalism and always, like, advocating for the people that, like, we don't play instruments, but we still, like, in the scene. And we still all have an intricate part of some part of the music scene. So, it's shit's cool. AshNic, let's get into you. Now, you've gone to school for everything, but what pinpointed your actual involvement within any music scene?
Well, you guys are now going to find out why I love My Chemical Romance so much, because I remember very clearly, like, I listened to Green Day because my friend, she either told me to listen to them or gave me a copy of American Idiot, like a burned copy of American Idiot. But then she's like, oh, you should also listen to this band, My Chemical Romance. And I was like, okay. So she sent me the link to, like, it wasn't even a song. Like, it wasn't like a music video, but it was like a clip from Life on the Murder Scene, which is their documentary. It was a documentary, and I watched it, and, like, everything about that clip, it was like an 11-minute clip or something, and it was just them being on tour, and, like, Gerard doing his makeup, and, like, obviously I love the music, but I was like, wow, this seems awesome. So I loved MCR, and one thing they were really, really, really adamant about they were really vocal about their support for like small local bands and supporting your local scene, because that's what they were. Like, they started out playing basements, so they were really big supporters of the local scene. And there wasn't a scene like in my town, like my direct hometown, but there was a venue. I went to private school for 2 years. That was 8th and 9th grade, so like kind of like the downward end of my scene phase. And one of my friends I went to school with was like into like the same kind of music I was into, like Bring Me the Horizon and like that like scene stuff. And she was like, "Oh, there's a venue like right around here. Why don't like we should go to a show sometime?" And that's where I got that that like one local band shirt that I wore to death, that yellow one. And I remember that first local show, and I met people there I talked to for years after the fact, like long time. It was like Dr. Manhattan, Kiss Kiss, Home Movies, Rediscover. Like, I just remember all of these names, and like not like I remember like the actual night, but I just remember like that show was really important. And I was like, wow, like I love this environment. I love everything about it. And I tried to be musically inclined. I played the cello because like for school and stuff, my older sister played the cello. So I was like, I should play the cello. And I was not very good at the cello. And then I hated the cello, so I switched to chorus. And I tried really hard to like do music. I tried to take guitar lessons, and it's never stuck with me. It's just like something in my brain is like, don't do music, and I like have no choice about it. But that was really important, and the fact of just like going to shows and just being a known face there and supporting bands was really important. So 8th and 9th grade I was in private school, and then 10th grade through 12th grade I went back to public school. And there's a really small little like town-funded coffee house that's in my town, or town-funded. It's like a community center, and they were like, "Oh, we need kids to be on our like governing board or something." So it's basically kids who would like book shows there, and it was like a no mosh venue. It was like the uncoolest place in the history of ever. But I joined, and first of all, I missed the first meeting because I was at a show. I went to go see Before Their Eyes. It was like a Tuesday night. I had to twist my mom's arm so many directions for her to drive me to that show. It was so worth it. It was like the best show ever. And then my first show that I booked there was a tour package. It was The Dangerous Summer headlining with Schoolboy Humor and Select Start. And then I got to pick 2 locals, and it was just like such a big deal. And the line for that show, like the entrance to the venue was like in an alleyway, and the line went out the alleyway and like started trailing around the block. And I looked out the window and like I almost cried. It was amazing. So that was really important to me. And I had like a friend, like someone I've worked with over the years. She was like, my first show was like this show in Westport. It was like The Dangerous Summer. It was like a long time ago. And I was like, I booked that show. I did your first show. And like, it was so important to me. And like, so kind of just like getting involved like that. And then I guess, I mean, like I kept going from that. I did booking for that little teen center. I interned at the venue I went to my first show at. Not even like for school. Like the first time I was like, I emailed them and I was like, I want to work for you. And they're like, okay, because I was like free labor to them. And then that was really important. And it just kind of like progressed from there. Worked with like a bunch of local artists and stuff. But like it wasn't like my defining moment, but one moment that like sticks out for me the most. There's 2. The first moment is I was a senior in high school. I was working with my boss on a battle of the bands. It was like it wasn't even like a last minute thing, but like in terms of booking, it was like a last minute thing. So like we had like 2 weeks to get this whole thing together. And I was like, all right, I'll just like not do my schoolwork and focus on this for you, boss, because I booked every band on that bill. So, you know, and it was just like a sketchy venue, and it was like my parents were not comfortable dropping me off there. And I'm like, I don't blame you. This place is weird. And just strange things. And my boss, who's like my height and like this skinny little Jewish guy, he's like, yeah, you just sit at the table, you do tickets, and this is like a venue above a nightclub in a sketchy part of town. And he's like, yeah, I'll be right back. And I was like, and he had like the promoter is like this huge guy. He's like a 300-pound dude, like the nicest person, but like a big guy with a presence. He's like, okay, just sit with him, and the guy was hitting on me, and I'm like, oh, this is so uncomfortable. But the night was starting.
How's math class going?
Yeah, he's like, so what are you doing in school? And I was like, being taught not to talk to strangers like you. I don't know.
That's great.
And I mean, he was like nice, but it was really creepy. And I was like, stop it. But doors were about to open, and like the back room, or like the actual room with the stage, was like starting to get filled with like, it was band members and like girlfriends and like people who were like there early. And I was like, no, like I need to like stamp people's hands, people to show their tickets. And I'm like trying to go around being like, hey, like I need you guys to all go back. And no one's listening to me. So I stand up on the stage, and like, I don't know if you guys can realize, I'm a loud fucking person. So I went up on stage, like no mic, nothing. I was like, hey, like it'd be really awesome if everyone who has a ticket could go over to this table so I can stamp your hand, please, and thank you. And I just like got off the stage, and everyone listened. It was, I'm like really excited about it. It was like a really important moment for me, because I was like, I did the thing! Like, really important.
Oh, man.
But come on, like, I was 16. I was standing in a room of like hardcore bros, like we're talking like neck and knuckle tats, like serious straight up like punch you in the face if you look at my girlfriend wrong type people. So I was like really nervous, and I stood up on the stage, and I was like, no, everybody like go do shit. And people did shit, and I was like, yeah. So that was really important. And then on like a completely different, like more of like an emotional level, I went to Skate and Surf 2013, and which was awesome. It was like my first time ever seeing Fall Out Boy. It was a horribly run event, but like the best weekend ever at the same time. So that was really important. And I was with my friend Caitlin, who's from around here, and we met up with her friend Trevor, who lives in Long Island, and then from there we drove to New Jersey. But Trevor is like the sweetest guy, and Caitlin warned me before. She's like, okay, Trevor's on like a ton of antidepressants, and his like mood's been really weird, but he's really nice, and I trust him, and you're gonna love him. And I was like, okay, like no judgment here. Super nice guy, really helpful, like, you know, really tall, so really good for like being in a crowd with. And on the way home, like it's like we drove home after night 2, so it's like, you know, midnight or 1. We're driving back to his house, and Caitlin's asleep, and like it's like a rainy, dark highway. It's like a calm situation. He's like, you know, like before this weekend, I was really depressed and like really upset, and like I just wasn't happy. And like after being here, like you've been such a great person to go to shows with. Like this is really awesome, and like I'm just like this is the first time I felt really happy in a long time. And I was like, oh my god, I'm gonna die right now. I was like, I like almost cried in that car. I was like, Trevor, like if you weren't driving, I would hug you. You're just a wonderful person. I'm like, I don't know, that was really important to me, and like that's like why I want to be involved so much. Like I don't play an instrument. I have no money to make in this business, but the fact that people get so excited, like that first show, the girl's first show was Dangerous Summer, and the fact that like he was like finally happy after like however long he had been battling depression, like that's so important to me. And just like meeting people and working with Property of Zach has been such a blessing, and working with Babetalk has been such a blessing, and it's just all these like weird internet things. Like no, like for real though, like
That's
come on,
so
like,
true.
I wouldn't have had
a blessing. Like stop.
I wouldn't have had anyone to go to the Wonder Years show with. I wouldn't have been able to like make that happen at all. Yeah, see, that weekend, that Friday night was like literally, you don't understand how badly I needed that. Like it was amazing. Going to see the Upsides was awesome, but like hanging out with everyone that I'd met through like this weird little like internet community family is like so important, because there's not a lot of people around here who listen to like the same kind of music I do or have a lot of interests. And even at school, like I went to college for music and entertainment industries, and I don't regret it. I loved my program. I loved all the faculty. It was like the best thing I've ever done. But
Now that's actually what I want to touch on, Rovas. You going back to like you know, your whole prior experience before college, like you know, be like, this is where I want to be. Going to college for a major is pretty much like you know, setting your life in front of you and saying like, this is what I want to do for the rest of your life. Was there a moment that like you know you thought like
Tony,
maybe
are you okay?
Yeah, like Tony's like laughing.
I had a drunk thought.
Okay, save it for the after
Yeah.
this. All right, go ahead, Ollie. Sorry.
Like seeing like this is definitely what I would want to do for the rest of your life. Was there any like swooning that you had to do like between family or friends or like just like or society like saying like this is what I want to do, this is what I was set on doing, this is what I'm going to do. Like was there like an internal like meaning that you have between yourself that you like you're going to prep yourself to saying everything like that, or was it like I'm going for it, this is it?
Well, I remember, like, it's hard, and I still feel this way, because when you're, junior or senior in high school, and your parents and your teachers and your guidance counselors are like, you have to start looking at, if you want to go to college, you should start looking at colleges. And let me, like, also preface this by saying my parents were supportive of me either going to college or not going to college, but I had to have a plan. So they were like, my town's like a college town in the sense that it's kind of like a horrible rivalry of like who goes to what school, and it's just, which I think is horrible. Like my best friend, she thought she wanted to go to college, but she hated it, and now she's in Brooklyn as a hairdresser, but she loves it and she's doing really well and she's happy. So I felt like it was kind of weird, and I was like, you know what, no, like I want to go to college. But the only thing I was really passionate about at like 16 or 17 years old was music and like being involved in local scenes and helping people. Like my dream career as like a 16-year-old was like either booking like a combination of like booking shows, going on tour, like running like a MySpace or Facebook page or something, and like being like the Vans Warped Tour pit reporter, like before, like with like Minkus and all that. I don't know if you guys remember that, but stuff like that. But that was the only thing I was really passionate about. And that's like a hard thing to think about going to college for, especially because a lot of music industry majors, you have to play an instrument, and I didn't. So I really wanted to go to Berkeley and Boston, and that couldn't happen. I wanted to go to like a bunch of other schools that offered majors like this, but you need to audition. And that sucked. And I was really pissed. And I was like, okay, I'll go for business, I guess. But like that wasn't something I was excited about. And when you have to dedicate that much time and money to something, like you don't want to half-ass it. So I kept scouting for majors, and I was like, okay, like kind of hesitantly settled on like business and marketing stuff. And I was like, yeah, like I guess I'll apply for this. And then I had a tutor for like junior and senior year. She was like an SAT tutor and helped me like do the like applications and stuff. And she stumbled across a website for this program called the Bandier program at Syracuse. And it was like a perfect program, and you didn't have to audition. And I was like, oh my gosh, I need to be in this. And they have a really small class size. They take 25 kids per class, which is like insane. I don't know how many kids applied like that year, but we're starting, like applications are starting to get into like thousands, like 2,500 kids apply every year for 25 spots. And I saw that, and my first reaction to reading that was like, fuck, I can't get in. There's only 25 kids. My tutor turns to me, is like, what makes you think you can't be one of those? And I was like, you know what? You're right. I want this. And like my whole motto throughout the whole process was like, nobody wants this as badly as I do. And I applied early decision. I went to Syracuse. I met with the professor. I attended a lecture. I talked to students. I stayed involved. Like after seeing that, like I was like trying to kiss all sorts of ass. And I was like, I need to be in this program. And I ended up not getting into the program. I got into my second choice, which was like, it was like something like philosophy. I don't know. It was something really random, but that was what all the administration told me to put down as my second choice. And I was like, I didn't expect to not get into the program, but I did it, and I was really upset. But I was like, whatever. I was early decision, so I didn't really have a choice. And sure. I appealed like 4 times. I was like, listen, no, you did the wrong thing. You checked the wrong rejection box. Like, you're going to be sorry you did that. So
see,
basically...
that shows your fight, though.
I was so passionate, and, like, I'm still passionate. I still get emails about, like, from kids, like, prospective students, like high school seniors who are interested in the program, who, like, want to learn more about it. And I just appealed, like, 4 times. Letters, essays, calls, emails, everywhere. And then they were like, okay, like, it's not going to happen. I was like,
I'm sorry, did I write Ashley on my application? I meant HBSC. Sorry, that would have been way better.
No, this whole story is actually a boss.
Yeah.
Well,
Pretty much.
Real quick. I gotta slip out.
Yeah, Eric, we understand, man.
Go attend to your wife.
Me. Ollie, when this is over, I'm gonna rewatch it and listen to every word that you said. And I'm so sorry that I'm not gonna be. You asked me all these wonderful questions, and I don't get to hear your answers. I'm sorry, but
It's
also
okay.
I wanted to piggyback on Tony crying or whatever he did. So I know I can be a little cold and emotionless and turn everything into a joke sometimes, but I'm dead serious. I know this in my heart of hearts. When I actually meet all of you in person, it's going to be way too much, and you're like, "What the fuck is this?" But it's definitely going to be big. But anyway, I'm out. Thank you for having me on,
Eric, thank you for jumping on the show for
this
this episode. It's a fantastic one to be on.
This was awesome. Yeah, thank you for having me. All right, I'll catch you guys soon. All right, see ya.
We'll talk soon, Eric. Night.
All right, have a good rest of it.
You too.
Man, Shana is gonna kill us. She's gonna wish she was on this episode
She's
so
gonna wish she was
much.
on this episode. This is such a great episode. But it's not over, since we still have Ashley telling her story. So.
I was appealing like a bazillion times, and after a certain point, like I remember very clearly getting the email on like my BlackBerry, getting the email. I was like coming back from a field trip, and I got the email, and it was like some lady who was in the admission staff who like we had been talking with, and she was really sweet, but she's like, look, like there's nothing we can do. Like it's set in stone. Like I see you're passionate, but like there's nothing you can do at this point. And I was like sitting on this bus, I was crying. I like I got back into school and like cried, and I was just like so upset. And I was like, okay, like I've accepted this. It's okay. I'm gonna go to the school. I'm gonna make the best of it. And I mean, like either way, like Syracuse University, like not a shabby school to get into, so good job. And the day after Bamboozle, I came back from Bamboozle weekend. It was like a Monday after school. We got a call from the dean of admissions at Syracuse, and she asked to talk to me, and I was like, my first thought is like, I'm in trouble. I'm not going to school. I fucked up. I'm gonna have to be like I'm gonna be a hobo. Like I'm done.
A hobo, not homeless.
That was my
First of all, it's called grunge.
I was like convinced. I was like done. I'd done something horrible. I don't know. But she's like, we have an extra spot in the Bandier program because somebody decided to drop out of the program. Would you be? And we wanted to offer it to you. And I started crying on the phone, like couldn't say words, couldn't formulate sentences, and I was like freaking out. And I'm just so proud. And like, because I like in December when I left, because I graduated in December, and I left, I like found that like Facebook status I made, and like I have a picture of me holding like my Bandier T-shirt that they give all the freshmen, and like
absolutely,
it was just so important, and like just that's something like I've really dedicated myself to, and it was
a big deal.
It was a big deal. It still is a big deal.
Mm-hmm.
I tell everybody about this program because I fucking love it. And I made a post there was this really great, awesome, like, music industry community called We Are the Kids. I don't know if the website's still really active anymore, but, like, the girl who ran it has been on Warped, like, the last 2 years. Like, that girl's legit. The website's legit. It's awesome. And I submitted a post, like, my freshman or sophomore year, like, what Bandier is, in case anyone was interested. And to this day, I still get emails from prospective students about it, being like, oh, like, how can I make myself stand out? What did you learn from it? What do you like about it? And I'm like, everything. Let me teach you. I just love you so much. And it's cool. So, and that's led to like a bunch of opportunities, like Babetalk, POZ, interning at Tumblr, interning with a bunch of festivals, street teaming with Warped Tour, going to South by 1, 2, 3, and it's gonna be 4th time in 2 weeks.
It's gonna be your 4th year, yeah.
Yeah, like just meeting all these people, doing all these things, and
you guys actually have like a gang name, I'm pretty sure, right?
For what? Oh, for when you graduate, like any member Well, I guess they say, like, you're still like an orangeman. Like, that's like someone who goes to Syracuse, like the Syracuse Orange or an orangeman. But my program director always calls graduates of our program the Orange Mafia. So,
Yeah.
with my diploma, I'm a card-carrying member of the Orange Mafia.
That's so badass. That's prestigious.
Now, like, taking all of that on, it seems to kind of find a favorite moment. But the same next question that I asked Tony and Eric: what has been your favorite, like, part of now, like, learn the business aspect and then learn like the street aspect of, like, running shows by yourself and, like, the whole thing about that. What's collectively, what's been your favorite thing?
I like, like I said, I've like street teamed at Warped a bunch of times. Like I went, my first Warped tour was 2009, and I don't think I haven't paid for a ticket since then because I street team. And when you street team, like, you're a volunteer, so you work and then you go see bands. So I haven't paid for a ticket since, like, the first time I went to Warped Tour, I'm pretty sure. And I was street teaming. Like, it was summer 2011, which was, for me, the best Warped Tour I've ever been to. It was the greatest. Like, Attack had an amazing set. I was working with this girl who posted, I followed her on Tumblr, but it turns out she worked for Substream magazine, and she was looking for street teamers, and we developed, like, a really great friendship. Super sweet girl. And I was working with her, and I'm like a loud person, so I was like bringing people to the tent, and I told people, because we had to get people to sign up for an email list, so she had a super soaker with her, so we filled it with ice water, and I was like, if you guys sign up for this email list, which is free to do that, I will spray you with ice water, because it was really hot, it's Warped Tour. And if you buy a subscription for $10, then anytime you come by this tent today, I'll spray you with ice water, anytime you want. And it was like a really good idea. Like, I don't know, it was really smart. And it worked. And she was super sweet. We were packing up. She brought me on the tour bus after, and, like, that was, like, a huge thing for me. It's the first time I'd ever been on a tour bus. It was just really cool because, like, I don't know if I'd want to go on Warped Tour the whole summer, but, like, it's a goal of mine to just do that for, like, a week or two. I don't know, just, like, prove that I can do it and also, like, get the credibility. Yeah. And we're, like, packing stuff up, and she's introducing me to people on the bus, and she's like, look, like, you've been, like, the best street teamer I've had all summer, and honestly, if I could just pick you to stay on this tour with me for the rest of the summer, I would. Like, I want to bring you on every single day. And I was like, oh my god. And, like, I just couldn't function. That was, like, a really big deal for me. And, like, it was, like, a street team. It's not, like, actually working. But, like, the fact that she was, like, so impressed with me was, like, a big deal. And I don't know. Anytime anyone tells me, like, oh, my God, like, you've done so much for your age. Like, I'm 21 now, and I still get, like, all, like, like, when people tell me I've done a lot of stuff. And I just kind of...
But, like, still, like, in retrospect, like, you still have done, like, a lot. More than the average person that doesn't play music.
I try really hard. I just, like... The one thing my program director told me, like, the very beginning of my college career, he's like, be so busy you can hardly come up for air. And I absolutely agree with that. I'm the kind of person, like, if I have to sit still for 5 minutes, I'm just, like, going to get lost in my own head and be like, oh, the world's terrible. But, like, if I'm doing something really productive for, like, most 12 hours of my waking day, then, like, yeah, like, I'm more excited to, like, be working and doing stuff and, like, helping people and being, like, a really good, like, assistant or intern or whatever it is that you need me to be. And, yeah, I just like it.
That's awesome. That's awesome, just, like, seeing those type of stories and, like, doing so much work, especially with someone that's coming, like, right out of school. Like, all the experience, like, even before school, like, that you have under your belt.
Well, that's the thing, is, like, everyone's like, oh my god, you did so much to get into Bandier. And I'm like, I didn't do all that stuff to get into college. I did it for me. Like, it was good resume building and stuff to work with that teen center and intern with that venue and work with that management company. But
it comes from your love of...
Yeah, like, I just wanted people to see me and be like, I know that girl from this show, or she was doing this promotion, or, like, I recognize her from MySpace. I don't know. But to, like, just be in that community is really important to me because we're all a bunch of misfits, so it might as well be misfits together. Like, you know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Yeah. So what I've summed up from this is Ashley is the boss. She said HBIC earlier, but she really meant it. And I think the most pivotal moment was when she was talking about all this shit she did, and she went, oh, and she tossed her hair back.
With the hair flip. The hair flip is always an indicator. I'm telling you.
I was like...
I'm going to tell you a thing. There was no sound coming from AshNic at the time, but she did the hair flip, and the camera automatically went over to her. When her presence makes a sound all of its own, that tells you that someone's in charge. Just letting you guys know.
I'm a loud person, but I'm really shy. But when someone compliments me on either one of a few things, one of them is my teeth. Because I had braces twice, 2 separate times. If you tell me I have nice teeth, I'm gonna be like, damn straight I have nice teeth. And the second is when everyone's like, oh, you've done so much, and I try to be humble about it. I'm not the kind of person who's gonna name drop and stuff. Even saying yes, I worked at Tumblr. Everyone turned to me. We have to present our internships to our classmates. It's a class. It's basically just PowerPoint presentations of what you did with your summer internships. Mm-hmm. And I was really quiet. I had a very modest PowerPoint. I was like, hi, I'm Ashley. I'm a junior, and I worked at Tumblr this summer. And everyone in the auditorium was like, no fucking way. And I was like, yes, fucking way. So I try to be quiet, and I'm like, yeah, I worked there. And they're like, what, you worked there? You got paid? And I'm like, yeah.
You know.
I try to be, but that's the thing. It's and so many people ask me for advice, and they were applying for the internships and stuff. And I'm more than happy to help people. I want to see all my classmates work there. I want the people who are in HR to be like, oh, another Syracuse student, especially a Bandier student. Yeah, I want to hire them.
It's a reputation thing.
I just wanna help all of you and make you all cookies.
I think the most important part of that, though, that you've said is when you're talking about how you didn't do these things so that you got into the Bandier program. You did this for you. That's what's important, because you get so many kids who are like, oh, I want to be a veterinarian, or I want to be an actress. No, what you need to do is you need to do your shit. Don't say what you want to do. You have to make moves in life. And you're not going to do that saying, yeah, exactly. You can't say, oh, I want to do this, and keep thinking it's going to be something in the future, so don't do anything about it. No, it's something that you are going to be. You need to treat your future as if you are already there. You are not someone who wants to be in the scene. You are someone who will be in the... You are a scenester in trade. You are. You need to start treating it like that.
A force to be working with.
Yeah, exactly. That's what you need to do. You need to act like you're already doing what you're doing, or else you're not ever going to get anywhere. If you're not doing it for you,
make it.
Exactly.
Fake it till you make it 100%. Well, we're approaching on a clock, and so I'm just gonna give my quick my quick introduction as to why I kind of wanted to get involved in the music scene.
Ollie.
Hey guys, I'm Ollie and I'm black, and I really shouldn't be a part of the scene. But I'm gonna tell you how I got into it.
We love you, Ollie.
We love you. I mean, if you look into the history, black people really weren't a part of a punk scene. We have bad brains, and then so in retrospect, there really shouldn't be a lot of niggas in the scene. But the way that
Wait, can I tell you a really quick fun fact? The only black person I knew in my local scene, this is a dead serious joke. That's not what I meant. Oh my god. I need to stop drinking.
I didn't hear what you said.
I took one sip, that's what happened. The only black person I knew in my local scene, his name, I shit you not, his name was Miami Dolphin.
Miami Dolphin.
That's what was on his license. His name was Miami Dolphin, and he tried to throw me in a trash can once.
Amazing.
Oh dear.
Amazing.
Anyway, go ahead, Ollie.
So, as a kid, I grew up in a very musical household. My mom would always used to clean. Back in my first house that I remember living in, we always had Earth, Wind and Fire, Marvin Gaye, old classic R&B hits playing in the house. So music has always been a part of my life, but I really don't remember getting into an actual punk or a pop punk scene until I bought a game. My parents actually bought me my first skateboard game called Grind Session because it cost less than Tony Hawk Pro Skater. But the title track that was on the video game was NoFX Linoleum, and the game was really weird. My memory card for the PS1 didn't work for Grind Session, so I had to always start at the first level, which the first level was always, it went NoFX, Linoleum, and then Black Flag's Rise Against, and then a few other video game songs from different rap groups. And since I was maybe 7, 8 years old, I was addicted to it, but not knowing that I was actually called punk. And I would play it every day for 4 years, maybe 3 years, not knowing what it was, and it was always a beautiful thing. And until I got into high school, I really wasn't really into an actual scene. It was always just pop radio. When I was in my private school, we used to have, go to the playground and play a boombox and have all the radio hits. And what I specifically remember was that, yeah, those were the days.
A wild Mac appeared.
A while back. Mackenzie's actually in the room now, so he can attribute to it. He actually grew up in whatever I had gone through in a different sense. We used to have this little shopping center that was right next door to our school that we used to be able to sign out for to go over to the candy store. And this one day, the candy store had our local radio station over at it, and it had WAYV that was giving away free CDs for Good Charlotte's Lifestyles of the Rich and Famous. And that was actually the first, I would say, pop punk CD that I have owned. And I listened to it what was it, every day straight, every day straight, going to school, going back from school, whenever I could put it in my CD player, because I really didn't have any CDs.
We loaded the songs onto the Xbox.
Don't get ahead of me. We also, when the Xbox first came out, that was the first new gen system that we had. We had our MP3 players, we had our CDs, and that was actually the first CD that we actually put into our Xbox, and we were able to rip onto it. And so, not only were we able to listen to it at school, we would come home and play it on the Xbox while playing Midtown Madness 3, which we rented almost every other week from Blockbuster. So, it's a lot of strange kind of happenstances throughout my life that, always incorporated some form of punk music into my lifestyle. And it didn't really, become predominant until I got into high school. I came from a private high school. My mom taught me, and I was actually raised one of Jehovah's Witnesses. I'm pretty sure some of you guys know that, some of you guys don't. But it's a very religious religion, and we didn't listen to any type of real any type of music until I graduated out of high school, and I was able to branch out into my own musical style. And this was right about when the Wonder Years started becoming really predominant in any type of scene. And I was scrolling through Tumblr one day, and I remember seeing You're Gonna Get Stoked on It. Oh my god. With the Captain Crunch and fucking the Kool-Aid girl. And Gonna Get Fruit Punch Homie was on my dashboard one day, and there was no reason for me to listen to it besides the fact that it was just Captain Crunch and Kool-Aid fucking. And I listened to it, and I reblogged it. And this is back in the days when, there was Tumblr popularity. I don't know if any of you guys remember that or not.
Tumblrity.
The Tumblrity was very predominant, and I'm oh, the album art is going to be really cool. But I specifically remember listening to that song over and over and over again. And it reminded me of NoFX Linoleum. And eventually I looked into the Wonder Years, which led me to Man Overboard, which all my friends were seeing in the Philly basement shows because I was in the South Jersey scene, so all those bands are still playing around the area and all the house shows. The Philly basement scene, the New Jersey bar scene. Transit was still coming down to New Jersey to play all their shows and everything. And I remember wanting to go to those shows, but seeing as that my mom was still very religious, she was like, no, you can't go and mess with those devil kids, you can't go. And I remember my friends coming to me and telling all these glory stories on how Soupy would get right in their face, fucking Zach would punch them, and the fucking in the middle of the set, in the middle of the Upsides had their release show over at a in a I want to say a Lansdale gymnasium, and it was just like I saw the video footage for it maybe a month after it came out, and I was like, this is where I want to be, and I never knew where these scenes actually existed from. So I eventually got into the pop punk scene. A lot of it, with my involvement, came from Tumblr, where I had started my one blog actually got caught by my parents, and I had to restart it, and that's where I started to come with the pop punk nigga persona. And back then, nobody knew who I was except for I started to get popular because they're like, oh, pop punk nigga, it's edgy, everyone's gonna be able to follow it, and I think it was the Pop Punk Not Dead tour, the first routing of it, because I think we're on routing 6, routing 7 of Pop Punk's Not Dead tour, and I remember standing in line, and all these kids used to come up to me and say oh, you're Pop Punk nigga, you're Pop Punk nigga, and I was like, oh yeah, hi, and I've developed my Philly friends from that scene. It was Nick, Shane, Elizabeth, all these friends started to come up to me and started saying, "Oh, you're this kid," and I started getting really involved in the Philly scene because back in 2010 when fucking Defend Pop Punk was actually starting to become a brand, all the Man Overboard, all of the Wonder Years, Philly was a fucking place to be, and I was so lucky to actually get into that scene at that time with all my newfound friends, and it was really cool. And it wasn't until my involvement within the scene was when New Jersey band True Things had played their last show in January of 2013. I had my digital camera that I graduated, my graduation present from my parents. And I'm like, you know what? I have this camera. This band's playing their last show. They're from New Jersey. It's at a bar that's near me. I think I'm going to go. And I shot this show not knowing that True Things is actually recorded in Nick from Man Overboard's studio, and Zach Ernstein was over there, and I'm like, oh my god, Zach's fucking over there. But Landlegan says he's drinking. It was a very small show. True Things was very predominant. I think that's a perfect EP. Fucking Coming Clean, Brandon Rosenberg's band. That's not Jim Ward before that. Another perfect EP. It was that type of close knit scene, and I remember I was taking pictures of the show, Candy Hearts. I want to say Motel Hotel out of Brooklyn, and then True Things. And I was taking pictures of the entire thing, my first show that I ever shot, and during the last song, Zach punched me in the jaw, and I was just like, this is exactly where I want to be. Having a band very predominant that's Man Overboard, still going to close-knit shows, supporting their own scene, even being outside their circuit. I found it to be awesome. And eventually I was like, I need to be involved. So I started taking pictures, and because I'm just a lazy asshole, I would take the pictures and never edit them. I would send them out to the club owner, and he would be really cool with having some kid wanting to take pictures, be involved, and then I would eventually get involved in the Defend Pop Punk group, and then with wanting to be involved in Babe Pads, and then long story short, Babetalk. And then me and Tony had ended up coming up with the concept of Babetalk, and then wanting to do something more than just taking pictures, because if I have a scene that's doing fairly well, that has to be 12 other scenes that are doing so much better than ours, and lo and behold, that's where Babetalk ended up coming from, and that's where we stand now. Just trying to get more bands to come out of the woodwork, get into proper recognition that they needed, and just showcasing that they deserve to be showcasing their own scene. So that's my origin story as far as scenes go.
And what's been your definitive moment, the most memorable moment of your involvement in the scene?
Oh man, I mean
it's hard, right?
It's hard because they're out of every episode. I want to say there was the episode, the string of episodes. If you guys remember that we had Arturo, that we had Ryan from Marina City getting so just the passion that came from just drawing out these answers that they gave and showing that they were so passionate as to what they were doing. And I'm like, for every band that says this one thing as to why they want to be a band, there are so many other bands that want to showcase it, they're really about what they do. This is going to turn into a shit talk, but there are bands like Real Friends and Neck Deep that I find to be so cliche within the pop punk scene that I really can't see their genuine tales. They make the music, but they sound so they blend right into everything else, and it's like, what are they doing? And then you have other kids that come out of these small towns that don't have small town bands, and they don't really have much going for them within their own scene, but they're so talented, they're so passionate, and they're being overshadowed by these cookie cutter bands like Real Friends, and kids are pissing and creaming in themselves over sad times, but there's so many other. Ryan, he's still sticks out in my mind for being the most passionate. The very moment we started talking about his EP, he went into a fucking story, and I think it translated between if you didn't know the story that happened between each one of the songs, you would think it would be about one person. There's one common theme, but each one of those songs tell a whole different novel in themselves, and I just thought that was so mind blowing that this one kid that had 6 different situations happen to him and still able to tie them into one thing and still have the same passion turned up to fucking past 12 as far as the description of everything. And you have Kyle making a fucking a novel. Bony knees and sleepy eyes. They mean
explain some things on our end.
It's just the comparison between the two. Just don't seem all that strong, and that's where my frustration comes between kids that really blend together. But seeing kids bleed their heart out through their Orpheuses, I think that was the thing that made me I'm able to pull that information out. Because if you have a normal conversation with the kids. Oh, I play in the band and I do stuff. But once you get down to the nitty gritty and pull these answers out of the kids, that's what I want to see. I want to see true selves. I want to see not reflections. I want to see what actually holds inside of you. So
I love that shit.
Yeah, I think that's what ended up happening with me, and that's why I was like, this Babetalk is exactly what I want to have. Not for me, but for everybody else.
That is a perfect conclusion to this episode, because we all started some of us had similar starts and some of us had different starts, and now we're all, obviously this is a thread that brings us all together, is being here. Yeah. And I remember specifically during Arturo's episode, I don't remember what I was talking about Skrillex and 5 Seconds of Summer or something. I got really into it. And Ollie was like, whoa, where did that come from? And I'm like, yeah, you're starting to see it now. And everyone just getting really passionate about what they do, and that's why.
And not saying that all the rest of the kids that come on the show don't hold the same passion. Everyone holds their own stuff. Everyone holds their own shit. Everyone that comes onto the show is able to hold their own. And that's what I love, being able to showcase everything. You all have something to showcase. You're always not able to see it, but for one kid that's actually able to come on the show, there's still 6 others that are waiting for their break, waiting for someone to notice them, and they're going to tell you exactly why they want to do something. So that's that before I get into anything further.
Perfect.
No, I don't know. I love it.
It's a beautiful thing. It is a beautiful thing. But goddamn, we are about what? We are a half an hour over our No, we're about we're about a half an hour out of our regular thing. So that's been our Babetalk After School Special on This Is Why I Got Into Music. Pick up. AshNic, you gave some awesome, and I love everyone's perspective as to everything. Eric coming from a musical background, AshNic coming from a
I don't even know what you would call it.
Just jumping in feet first with everything, and Tony coming from out of want, out of Italy, out of a want, and me because I just stumbled upon it. So out of all of our walk of life, we still end up finding pop punk to be something that we're passionate about, and that's why Babe Talk is here, because we're trying to find kids that are passionate about shit. And I think that's where we're going to end things on tonight.
All right.
All right.
You guys were frozen for like the past, I don't know how long, so okay.
Well, let's hope it translates well to the podcast. We will see you guys next week, where I will tell you who's on the schedule when I have it in front of me. We'll give an announcement on Monday. Everybody enjoy the rest of your week. We'll see you guys next week.
Bye.
Bye.